What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy King again. They chat the damn thing again, people. And as you can see, we're gonna talk about the boys, them. You don't know the young reggae boys, them will make us so proud. You don't know. We're gonna work up, people. We're gonna work up, and you have to get used to this. You have to get used to we going to the World Cup, people, because I know see a lot of us are still disappointed about the senior men's team. But this is the start of we going to the World Cup, people. This is official the start of we going to the World Cup. And as you can see from the title of the video, we know we want to big up the boys them even more, but we'll also see what the men's senior team can learn from the under-17 Reggae Boys making it to the World Cup, qualifying for the World Cup. Let's see. We're gonna look at a few things. You don't know, we do it over here at Pree TV. We're gonna look at a few things that the boys them can teach the men. You get me? I say so boys to men. We're gonna see what the boys them, the young under-17 Reggae Boys them can actually teach them and see some things that we can actually learn from using the young Reggae Boys them and see if we can apply this same formula where the boys them used to go to the World Cup. And also see if the seniors them can make it to the World Cup later on in the year. Also, people, we have the under-17 girls that are trying to make it to the World Cup as well. The under-20 boys. I heard under-20 girls, but I don't think I see anything about under-20 girls. I know under-17 girls for sure. And I know the senior women's team as well. So we have a few teams that's vying for World Cup this year. You get me? I say we have a few teams that's vying for World Cup this year. So from my understanding, I think that we have about 4 teams that's possible to qualify for the World Cup this year, based on my understanding. If it's more than 4 teams, but I think it's 4. I think it's at least 4 teams that can qualify for the World Cup this year, 4 Jamaican teams. And what I think if all 4 qualify, you get me? I said this is the first of the bunch out the blocks, the under-17 boys them gonna World Cup, and we don't want just glass over it, make it look like a baby thing. Yeah, we're gonna talk about some things we will learn, some things where the senior Reggae Boys them must take from the triumph of the under-17 team, but we're also big up the youth. Then we're gonna also take some time out for big up the youth. Them, and I'm supposed to have an expert in the U17 game coming on the show. You get me? I say. So let's see. I'm supposed to have a few experts. Let's see if they'll actually make their way. Also, let me see. I'm trying to get as much experts as we can, and then we're gonna talk about the show as it is. You get me? I say as it is in terms of like, as I said, the senior boys them. Because really and truly, I know that we don't want to take the glass off of the youth them shine. Why? But we also want to make sure so we can direct certain things to the senior youth them and see if we can take anything from it. Isn't me? Yeah, so big up on yourself, people. You don't know while we're there, while you go and smash that like button. If you just join in, you know, go ahead and hit that like button for us. In the meantime, in between time, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, people, hit that like button. Once you join, just go ahead and hit that like button, and we can play the national anthem of the show, and then we'll get right into the show.
When Pree TV, big them up. Yes, everyone, in case you for me, big up Pree TV. Like, share, subscribe. Boom! I don't know about Pree TV, we are big up, I don't know. Boom!
I want Pree TV, you don't know how to big up yourself every time.
Like, share, and subscribe to Pree TV.
I will tell them, say, Pree TV, I will tell them thirst is nothing. Zoom in for the diamond then.
Oh,
Image
shit.
is everything. Obey your image. I will make them know. I've seen enough TV before, but I've never seen a TV like this. I've seen enough station before, Pree TV, the one you top the list. Room! Shizzle for
Shizzle,
sheezy. I
Sheezy.
didn't know bigging up Ball P TV would be so easy. Kaboom, rum, sham, kaboom.
Yeah, people. Bigging up Ball Pree TV is very, very easy indeed, as Elephant Man say. So we could jump right into the show and we could jump right into the show as we speak. So where to start? Let's start from the actual start. And that is to, you don't know, people, we're going to start with some images of what went down yesterday. Then we will go right into the show as it relates to what is to be learned from this Reggae Boyz victory. We could start with the images them first and foremost. You get me? I say. And again, people, a lot of the images them are going to be coming from the super fan Kerry James again. Kerry did same day for father. I know that it was supposed to be a bit earlier, but let's see. So alright, so it's so ironic with this video, people. This video is Ganja Class, and we know Class. Everybody's supposed to know Class. But
as we were, bigging up those who deserve praise and trophy on them, something there. The under-17 Reggae Boyz, they qualified for the World Cup.
Snap your fingers.
Yeah.
Snap your fingers.
They beat Canada 3-1, and they've qualified for the November under-17 World Cup in Qatar.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so no pressure to the Reggae Boy them. No pressure. You know what I mean? Love on them thing there. Not beaten. No, listen. When it's time for beat, we don't get beaten. And when it's time for praise, we'll praise you. Right? So yeah, don't
So people play that video for one specific thing. Class say when a time for beat, you get beaten. When a time for praise, you get praise. Man, no, say the U17 them time to get praise right now. So I mean, no beat them. You know, say, and a time for beat, not time for praise the youth them. You get me? I said the youth them go, they go do the damn thing, and a time for praise the youth them. Because when a time for beating, I give a dish out, right? So a time for praise. Because good things are going, we could praise you them and big up you them.
Yeah, right. Anyways, big up the under-17 football team for doing that service to the nation.
Yeah.
We hope we can see more of that.
That is it. That is it. Great job there on the 17 team.
Yeah, people. So the U17 team qualifying for the World Cup. And for me, the ironic thing about Mr. Claus, hold on the people, let me plug in the laptop here. But for me, the ironic thing about Mr. Claus being the one for really big up the youth them is the fact that members say after the World Cup qualifying last game, Mr. Claus was one of them who actually made headlines as it relates to his criticism of the team. Order check 1-3. Yeah, people. Sorry for the technical difficulties I just encounter. But yeah, as me I said, people, hold on, let me forward back the video. But yeah, as me I say, it's so ironic about Class because Class came out with a lot of criticism in regards to the youth them. You get me? I say it came out to a lot of criticism where he was at the man them not qualify and him that swing the belt buckle basically and everybody that get whop. So even so much remember the big Whisper controversy where him basically and Whisper was going back at it until everybody thought about that and it quash out and everything. So Ganja Class coming out and bigging up the youth them was kind of very, very ironic in itself. And it's good that that's some afforded play people because again, as much as we are focused on the U17 and them triumph, there's still less. Them have a saying, people, them have a saying, so the youths shall lead the way. The youths shall lead the way, and the youths them so far I lead the way. But these were the last moments of the game yesterday, people. These were the last moments. I'm a big advocate of youths. I'm a big advocate of youth football, especially. And for no say the youth them do the damn thing. It was a proud moment. Let's just take a look at a few of the goals real quick. You get me? I say people also I dropped the link very, very early. So who want to join, feel free to join and have your say because this won't be a long show. You get me? I say the ball game will be kept to a decent timing. So this I think was the that was the second goal. That was the last goal. Hold on, I'm not ready to play the last goal. Let me play the. You know, so I can't get the first goal, so I'm just get the second goal. Let me see if I can find this. No, that's the first goal. Let me see if I can bring up for all those who don't see it as yet. It's over there in the Pree TV channel, but this is the youth from Manning Cup, right? He was a standout in the Manning Cup. But you see, yes to the game. You see, yes to the game, people. Manala, it was a good team effort in them. People, the keeper put on a show yesterday. The keeper, big keeper, safe hands. The defense, solid as a rock, is a reason why I want goal them concede in the 3 games. Canada can't. Talking about goal, I not even count that as a goal. Come to think about it now, I robbed the match I robbed about the youth them yesterday. That was never a penalty. That was never a penalty yesterday. I make sure I tell them that from now. The youth them not concede no goal. Canada not deserve a goal upon the youth then. Penalty wasn't a penalty. Defense, solid. The right back, oh my. Solid. The left back, when you burger. Right-footed left back, solid. Midfielder them, oh my. Solid piece of midfielder them. The number 10 though, you can see the number 10, Nolan. You can see the number 10 is it seems like he's playing above his peers. You can see him bigger than them under 15, under 17. Yeah. Him literally, I think he was one of the players that would have been there last year. So I think that says a lot. Kelvin Brown, everybody's supposed to know Kelvin Brown from the under 15s. Kelvin Brown literally was the one where everybody I look forward to for the goals. Them. So Kelvin Brown would have known Kelvin Brown. But you see, Jamu and Lyle, people when they see Jamu and Lyle, when they see that youth, yesterday literally Jamu and Lyle take up the game. Take up the game in a hand. You know what reminded me of people? You know when time World Cup, when me I grew up in a people, I show you something. When me I grew up, every World Cup, you used to have some baller we are feed them World Cup. Remember from R9 days, when R9 got a World Cup, you know what say R9 come for this World Cup. Ronaldinho come for this World Cup. Zidane come for this World Cup. You always have some baller where them come for the World Cup. And me I tell you yesterday, you see the baller when name Jamon Lyle. The man take it personal yesterday. The number 10 people, don't get me wrong, Nolan. You can see it, say, yeah. And that me like the whole team. It was a team effort, people, don't get me wrong. It was a team effort. But you see that youth, when you Jamon Lyle, the man decided to take up this football game on him head. The man decided to take up this football game on him. And people right on cue, guess who we have in the building? Guess who is in the building? The man himself. The man, the myth, the legend. Where am there? The man, the myth, the Kerry. People, I don't know if Kerry is actually a real human being. Well, I know he's a real human being. I meet him in a real life, but I don't know Kerry. The superest fan you can ever find in the world is here to tell us about this U17 team. But Kerry, right, I said the ball game starting. How are you? How are you doing? We don't even know which part of the world you're there, but big up yourself in the part of the world you're there. How are you doing? Yeah, you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I'm hearing you clearly. I'm somewhere on Earth.
Somewhere on Earth.
Yeah, how you know the person that you met is a real person and not the AI. This is 2026. So
probably an AI for real. People, Kerry is everywhere. Anything named football, a player. Anything named football for Jamaica, a player, Kerry is there. Just know that Kerry will be there. I'm find the right layout so we can have Kerry in the right imagery for the youth them. But I think mega change I want. But yeah. But Kerry, you know say I think a lot of people is attributing this one to you in a way. It's like because here's why. I think that a lot of things that we saw leading up to the game came from you. So we have to also say congratulations to the boys them. First and foremost. The boys them go out there, go do it on the day. But leading up to this and even right through this and even after this, because Mrs. Sleek have the great anthem and I'm tell you to send me things so I can play the thing and you don't send me the thing in the boss man.
oh, you sent me too many messages. I just remember that you told me to. After this, I will.
So, miss everything. And we're going to show some images as well. Again, we're now going on a lot of things, but more the fans' perspective. You were there. Before the start of the tournament, did you feel it in your bone that we were going to qualify?
Well, I'm not really good at predictions. But what I would say is this team, I think, had it very challenging to qualify for a number of different reasons. One of the ones is the coach mentioned it in the post-game interview that the preparation probably wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
Short in terms of time, and then in terms of the opponents that we played, the coaches made the best of it in terms of the practice games that they could get. So we didn't have any international friendlies. That was one issue. I think another issue that people don't realize that don't follow the youth teams closely is that these are 2009s. So the problem you have at the youth level with the way the tournaments are structured is that CONCACAF U15 is every 2 years, CFU U14 is every 2 years, U17 World Cup now is every year. So what you find is the players that are born the even numbered years, for example, the last U17s that were 2008s, they had played a CONCACAF tournament before as U15s. So to make that CONCACAF team was a 2009, a couple did make it. Nolan made it, Berger made it, Justin Hales made it. But it's not easy. So most of the squad is going to be 2008. So the 2009s that we had this year didn't really have a lot of tournament experience. Obviously, we had Kelvin Brown, who's a 2010 that played U15 and U14. But generally, the players in the odd number years, you're going to find that they're less experienced in terms of international football. So that was another factor that kind of was weighing against them. Not the greatest preparation time. So I'm not going to come and say that I knew we were going to qualify. That would be a lie, I think. But, as the time went by, I think, especially towards the last part of the preparation, I think the coaches were able to use that time very efficiently to fix some of the weak points of the team going into the tournament.
Okay. It's good that you talked about the age because a lot of us don't understand the age and how that works. So we had only one 2010 player, right?
In the final squad, Kelvin Brown from the last U15.
Okay, and so Kelvin was the only player from the last U15 because I was wondering myself because I didn't actually do the research to see how much players actually from the last U15 that win. So Kelvin was the only one from that last U15.
Yeah,
And
we had a couple of others that were, I would suppose, well, they were in camp for sure, you know, leading up to the tournament, and I would assume that they would have been like very close to actually making the team. For example, Carolina Morris, the other striker from the U15, Tevin Savage, the winger slash wingback from that plays for Cavalier now in the Premier League. Those players that were also 2010s that were playing in the U15, Samuel Taylor as well from Mount Pleasant. So all of those 3 players were in the camps like right up until the end. Just missed out on the team. So they were 2010s that were preparing, but they just didn't make the final list.
Okay, all right, good. So all right then. When I just joined the show, I was basically talking about the game. Cause first I start with this. And you were there. Let me not hide some of it. You were there. Did you shed any tears? Big man a crying, man.
Yeah. I cried like a baby. Funny enough, even before the game ended. I think when the third goal scored, there was a sense of relief because obviously we were up 2-1 and we just needed that time. So and Canada was also playing. So yeah, it was very emotional.
Yeah, but before that though, the penalty, what was your feeling like?
I was actually at the other end because I was working as, you know, I'm a professional media member, so I was working as a media member. So when you're working as media at those events, you're basically by the corner flag. So I'm obviously by the corner flag where Jamaica is attacking. So I was at the actually opposite end of the field. So the parents of some of the players that came to the tournament, they didn't think it was a penalty. And they were I actually had not seen the replay, but yeah, they were the main stands was behind our goal in the second half. So they would have had a better view than me. I saw 2 players kind of like challenge, and the player went over. So I don't know if it was a matter of the player. I think it was Van, the striker for Canada, drawing the penalty cleverly. I don't know. I still haven't seen the replay. There's been so much going on that I haven't had a chance to see the replay. But yeah, I heard it was soft.
Yeah. So and the commentator actually said if VAR was here, that would have been overturned. Basically, that's what he said. So from the commentator, I said no. But anyways, for me, what I didn't want, and then here's the thing: I wasn't able to see what happened exactly after the penalty was given. But what happened is that the goal that showed, the celebration that showed, and the next thing I noticed was some fight and some scruff with a go on. So I'm like, yo, let's calm down. Let's not have like a red card right here. So but the officer will never pick up a red card right there because that could have been a turning point. But I'm glad that them actually keep them head. And the other thing about keeping them head is something that I'm gradually seeing in the game now. I think that the youth, them and the team as a whole, we are becoming a smarter team in terms of when to slow down play, when to kill plays. I don't want to say this, but even the commentator was saying that I think a lot of times when the goalkeeper went down, and it happened right through football, the goalkeeper know how to kill time. Sometimes you have to kill sometime. Me can't say so, I'm a fan. I mean, I know if you can say so, but you have to know. Remember, the South American teams, they are known to do this. You're leading, know how to slow down the game, know how to manage the game, control the game. And I think we did that well. I think we also defended well. How them defended they come from? I would have defended them. You have got them about the individual players, them, because we really want to get into the individual players, and while me I start talk about the individual players, them, I know it's a team effort, it's an excellent team effort. But me have to start right as while me I talk about individual players. Me have to start right as and then going back to the goalkeeper because that's an excellent goalkeeper. I want to know who he is. But this kid, Mbappe, if you can remember the last World Cup when Mbappe showed up for the last 15 minutes, Jamal Lyle took this personal, but Jamal Lyle talked to you about his performance yesterday, man. Who is Jamal Lyle first thing first?
Well, some of the players say I'm biased because I'm always kind of extolling the virtues of Jamal Lyle. So they say he's my favorite. which is not necessarily true. I just like how he plays. I think he's effective. And obviously, well, first of all, Jamon Lyle, we know is a player that plays for Jamaica College, right? Plays as a winger nominally because I think he's a creative player. Sometimes at JC they give him more like a free role because his creativity is so high and he creates a lot that sometimes maybe they ask others to do the work, defensive work for him while he creates, which obviously that's, maybe that's the best way for them to win in high school. Obviously there's a bigger demand for him in terms of the defensive work when he's playing for the national team. Especially since he's playing on the wing, because I think probably in an ideal world, Jamon Lyle is probably a number 10, better number 10 than he is a winger. He's one of these what I call fake winger. You're not really a winger. But he can play there.
He's a false winger.
False winger. And especially with the setup of our team with Kelvin up front and with that, Jamar playing behind, it's going to be difficult for you to play him in the center. I think that's why he ended up playing on the wing. But he's a very creative player, and I think once he got the expectation as to what the coaches wanted, because I don't think it's too much of an issue when he has the ball. I think it's more like when he doesn't have the ball, when we don't have the ball, the work he has to do, and I think he adjusted to that well. But when he's on the ball, I don't think Glaze our players too much, but he's like a magician. He's very skillful. He's a very creative player, and you saw in the game against Canada, he created the first goal with that cross, and then another brilliant finish to the far post with his right foot for the second goal. So his performance throughout the tournament I thought was good. I even thought his performance leading up in the preparation period was also good. So I think it was just for him and the coaches to get in the same sync as to what the expectations were in terms of the defensive side of his game, because he's really good when we have the ball.
Yeah, definitely. So Jamon Lyle, man, took it personal yesterday. But while we talk about Jamon Lyle, I don't know I'm gonna have the first goal for sure. But a skipper's display, them call it a captain's display. And Nolan, you can see say it seems as if he was playing above his age group. That's how it looked on the field. It looked like he literally a play above his age group. You can see the experience. Also, I think the commentator said that he would have been the only player that would have been there from last year.
Yeah, there were only 2009 players in the squad last year. He was one of them. He was the holdover 2009 from the last time, because Justin Hales Bop didn't make the final squad the last time. He was in the group up until like the last selection, and then he wasn't selected. But in terms of the tournament itself, it was Nolan was the only, Jamar was the only 2009 that came back, that made it team.
So Jamar is currently with Toronto Academy. I'm seeing Toronto FC Academy. He's playing what next MLS Next Pro, right?
MLS Next Pro, and then a couple of weeks ago he was also invited to the actual MLS team's first team training. So when he came to us, that's where he was coming from. I think they were in Spain, I believe. So he came to us from there. But more than likely, this season he'll play MLS Next Pro. Again, obviously, unless he makes the bench of the first team, which is not impossible, but he's very young, so it's good for him to be playing MLS Next Pro. Obviously, jumped right above the academy, because you normally would be playing academy at this age. But seen as good enough by the club to be playing MLS Next Pro, so that's an indication of his quality.
Okay, but anything about his background, where he's from, where he come from, Arca, you would have known him before, I'm gonna assume, because
I don't know where he's from originally. I think it's somewhere in the West, but he played for Mount Pleasant, which is where he made his name and where he was developed. He played for Mount Pleasant for quite a few years, in the academy first, and obviously then in the first team. So he was in the, played Premier League games last year before we went to the U17 tournament. So I can't tell you where did his initial development, but Mount Pleasant is where he did the rest of his development, before he got an opportunity to play abroad.
Okay, so this is This is Nolan, Jamari Nolan, people. As you can see, 16-year-old. Is 16 or 17?
He's a 2009, so he just turned 16.
Okay, 16-year-old. Let's say 16-year-old striker, because this is what I could find on him. Because again, and
Actually,
as you
just
said,
turned 17 because I think he was born in January.
just turned 17. Yeah, let me see if I can see it right here. Yeah. It's in November 2009. So unless this is wrong,
Oh,
I
it's
don't know. I
November.
don't.
It could be. It could be. It could be. Yeah, 17 this year either way. Either I don't remember what
Oh,
his birthday was.
okay, so this basically is saying that Nolan would have played for Premier League. You'd have played 12 Premier League games for Mount Pleasant. And then move into, so you actually got a transfer to Toronto FC. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not sure how it worked contract wise because obviously he was under 18 when he left Mount Pleasant. So I don't know if it's. I suppose it's still a transfer. I just don't know if they get like a transfer fee. I don't get the impression that they do. I think they probably get just like training compensation and things like that.
Okay, okay. Big up yourself, coach Mkiajan. Big up yourself, Melshire Walker. Bless up yourself. Jam Pale is in the building. RR is in the building. Big up yourself, 433 Presser. Sherman is Scott in the building. People, when I have a guest, I can't stop to read all the comments. And big up yourself, RNR. Big up yourself, Danny Jed. People, when I have a guest, we have for you. Remember, say the guest strap for time, you know, and I'm like an hour late. You get me? I say, so I can't really. Again, people need use up the super chat. See, they may have black out the guests for sure. The people need use up the super chat so we can, if something needs to get, use up the super chat. It works. So yeah, so Nolan. So we talk about Nolan. We talk about Lyle, the goalkeeper, White.
Mm-hmm.
What was supposed to know about him? He had an excellent tournament, but even that save in the finals, not a normal 16-year-old as well. What you know about the goalkeeper?
Yeah, Omario White came to my attention through actually Raekwon. I don't know if you know Raekwon Campbell is one of our players on the last U17. So he Jamaican heritage obviously and plays for Toronto FC as well as Nolan. So they're playing at the academy at the same time, and then Nolan went to play for MLS Next Pro. So Omario actually plays for that same academy team that Raekwon plays for. So the first time I saw him was a couple months ago. There was a tournament in Arizona with the MLS teams. So that was the first time that I saw him play. And then he got an invite to camp, which was actually the very last camp before the team was selected. Impressed, and yeah, that's the story.
Yeah. So he looks like an excellent piece of goalkeeper. It more remind me of the keeper with it. The keeper, the name again, and I think he's playing USL now. Probably at the Jets, you know. Who remind me?
Are you talking about Boyce Clark? Or
Boyce Clark, not Boyce Clark, man. The youngster man where they play, I think he was part of the U20. But anyways.
Joshua, maybe? Joshua Grant?
Yeah, Joshua. It was Joshua. Yeah, Joshua with the Jets initially. But,
you're actually the second person I heard say that today.
Yes, a serious thing. I don't see a lot of him. Where is he currently playing now? The goalkeeper.
So he played at Toronto FC Academy. So I guess that would be the U19s.
So Toronto. So it's the same club as Nolan.
The same club as Nolan, but a different team. Yeah, Nolan plays for the second team, the MLS Next Pro team, and then Omario plays for the team that Raekwon plays for, which is the academy team.
Which is the
younger players. Yeah.
Okay, because here's the thing. I'm doing this one by one. I'm in here because many people for know the extent of what just won yesterday. Because I don't think it's been. I feel like the youth them get them just reward. The right back, Javon Foster. They would play like Cafu yesterday. I saw a prime Cafu yesterday. He was prime Cafu yesterday. And the right back. Talk to me about Javon Foster now.
Yeah, Javi is he plays for Garvin Mateo. Yeah, that's his name, but I guess they call him Javi. Javon Foster, yeah. So he plays for Garvin Mateo. I think he's like a very good defensive right back, very solid in the one-on-one duels. Probably can work on some going forward, type things. But I think very, very solid. Just like how you probably come to Kaka eventually, that Burger on the other side is, I think we had two very solid defensive wing backs that made it difficult for their wide players to get any joy. So yeah, impressive player. We say he's the new Sharty Malcolm. If somebody said that,
that too. As
if he knew who Sharty Malcolm was, and he said no. So you need to go and research that. But a good right back and was solid throughout the whole tournament.
Solid. First, I got to do your research. You have to know who Sharty Malcolm is. Because
so if I ask him again and he doesn't know who it is, I'm going to be upset because
man. I'm in trouble.
This is 2026. So all the kids have Google. It's not like my time when you had to find an encyclopedia or find somebody older to tell you about what was going on before. You can look it up.
Yeah, big up yourself, Gunners. Big up yourself, Gunners. Big up yourself. Big up yourself, my bro. Danny J said, "Bun and cheese, money, Mount Pleasant." Danny J knows something.
Yeah.
Danny J knows something. Big up yourself, everybody were there. All right, let me see. Wasn't all right. So make we try to right along. Now it's interesting, because I like Foster's game, but Dwayne Burger, you can clearly see that it's a right foot. I was playing left back. He's right-footed, right?
Right-footed, yeah. I don't think I guess they searched for left backs and they couldn't, find a left back that they were comfortable with that was left-footed. So yeah, Burger ended up playing left back, same as he does for Waterhouse, by the way. He plays left back for the Premier League team as well. So yeah, right-footed left back.
Okay. So, right-footed left back. Somebody said this as well. I don't want to glass over it. Come in. Christopher Wright said the goalkeeper is from Ballers Academy. So he also got a transfer overseas as well.
Oh, I should have said that because I saw Andre Virtue. Andre Virtue, that's the head of Ballers, is now working with CONCACAF. I think he works in some committee for youth development. He was actually at the tournament, not necessarily for the tournament, but because of that role. So he was at the game yesterday. So I saw him at the game and he was saying after the game, we need to take some pictures of the goalkeeper. I didn't even realize, it never clicked in my mind that it was Ballers. I knew he was at an academy in Jamaica, but I didn't realize it was Ballers. So yeah, Ballers Academy. And then he, I think Andre said 4 or 5 years ago, he moved to Canada. And so yeah, obviously got opportunities with the with Toronto FC, which is good. That's where he's currently playing. So yeah, another Ballers Academy Productions.
Okay, I think a lot of people are trying to push the narrative here and been ignored. Pree, have you noticed the difference between homegrown and diaspora? I don't even notice the difference because I don't even know who is. I know that it's all Jamaican team. I see what them. Me no know who is what, and me no know. So me no know the narrative. Again, ask your host how many players were in the team who weren't raised in Jamaica. Why the narrative here? What's up with that? May I try to figure out the importance of it? You think what's the importance of it, though, Kerry?
We have ideological divide especially in fandom, Jamaica football fandom, overseas versus local, and I don't think you can necessarily get away from it. It's something that's on people's minds. And so maybe the person that you're reading the comment from, I always look at it as like a spectrum, right? You have people that are on one end of the spectrum that is kind of wary of overseas-based players. And you have people on the other end of the spectrum that tend to think that the Jamaican players that are developed in Jamaica are no good. So I'm probably somewhere in between because I think you need both. But I can understand where people are coming from because you have people that have different ideologies in terms of what a national team should be, how much we should utilize overseas-based players that weren't developed in Jamaica. So I understand it's a part of the discussion. So in terms of this particular team, there were, I guess you could say that there were 4 players that were not developed in Jamaica. Because the keeper, for example, plays for Toronto FC now, but he, like you just said, he was playing at Ballers Academy Jaheim Bennett, that plays for New York City FC now. He was playing locally for JC at one point. Obviously, Jamari played at Mount Pleasant and is now playing in Toronto. One of the other goalkeepers also just recently left Jamaica a couple months ago. Used to play at Calabar. He's now in Florida playing club football. So yeah, I understand it because I hear it all the time in terms of the local versus overseas. It's just a topic that people are interested in, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. Hopefully that answers your question. Raheem Kelly. He was one of the central midfielders, right? Him and Henry was playing central midfield. He was the number 14, right?
Yeah.
Because
the best number, by the way. That's my number 14. So
that's your number.
The privilege of wearing number 14. I told him.
So Raheem Kelly, give away a know of the player, cause man, I see nothing of him right here on this database. I don't know.
Yeah, he plays for he goes to Glenmuir. I don't know the exact detail, but I get the feeling he was one of these transfer players that had to sit out a year, which is why he wasn't playing the Costa Cup last year. So I would assume, I don't know this for sure, but I would assume that this upcoming year he'll be playing the Costa Cup for Glenmuir. Good player, like they even experimented a little bit with him playing as a centre back as well. So he had the versatility to do both. But yeah, I think he's a good number 6.
Okay, Raheem Kelly, that people. His other partner in central midfield, Romy Henry. Not seeing much on him as well, so you have to take that one away as well.
Romy Henry plays for Wolmers. So he played Manning Cup. He was a Manning Cup standout, I would say. The games that I saw anyway. I'm not the Manning Cup expert, don't live in Jamaica, but the games that I saw, he was very good as a centre mid. You notice that yesterday, for the first time, that they actually played both of them in midfield at the same time. So they started Kelly and Romy. So normally they would play maybe Romy plus a centre mid like Jaheim or Kai Williamson or even Justin Hills. So the coaches decided maybe a little bit more solidity in the middle of the field. So they went with the two holders that they had in the team, which was both Romy and Raheem. So I think Romy, a very good number 6 to me. I think he brings balance to the team. I think he can kind of help control the middle of the field in terms of when the other team has the ball. His ability to organize. So I think, overall, I think he was probably one of our more consistent players. So good player from Wolmers.
Okay, and I think I missed out the centre of them, so I have to highlight them. Jaden Morgan was the number 4, because the centre of them actually were the number 4 and number 5. So Jaden Morgan, number 4. Talk to me about what you would have known about him, so
Jaden Morgan was a player that was playing locally. He played at KFA. I'm not sure what high school he played at, but I know he played at KFA, the club. He was a player that played for us. I think we went to a tournament in Sweden a couple years ago. I think that was U15 at the time, and so he went with that team to Sweden, played very well, and then he migrated. Actually, funny enough, to the same place that, I don't know if you remember Kai Miles that used to play for Campion.
Kai Miles.
Yeah,
he was Kai was at KFA as well.
Both at KFA, and both ended up at the same, I think they call it prep school, is how they call it in America. It's somewhere in Massachusetts, I think. So they're actually both at the same place now. I can't remember the name of the
prep school.
They call it prep school. It's like a high school. I know prep school we think of as younger kids.
Okay, I'm confused.
I was. I think he's that young and playing U17, but no. He's playing at the same school.
I think a prep school before him they got Campion. So they say, they may come from prep school days.
No. I think the name of the school has actually the word prep in it, so it's something prep. I can't remember the first one, but yeah, they're both at the same school now. So he's migrated, and I think the coaches realized that he was available. Because I don't think we have the greatest system of tracking players once they leave Jamaica.
And a middle school, a different thing. You would have known of a middle school. I don't think a middle school campus. I can't middle school.
No, it's not.
I don't think so.
It's pretty much like a high school, but they call it prep.
Okay,
So yeah, so I actually saw him at, which game did I go to? I think I went to a game at JC. I think it was a JC Money Cup game, and he was there. He used to play for KFA, and Eric, who is the person that runs KFA, actually called him over and said, "Hey, you know, remember Jaden is 2009." So I think otherwise from that, I think the coaches already knew. Like I think Basil Reynolds in particular knew that he was back. And he got invited to one of the camps. I think it was actually a camp. He was here. It was in December. I think he was here because it was the holidays. And so he got invited to that camp, and obviously he impressed. I think in terms of our center backs, we have a lot of kind of quiet center backs, and he's one of the ones that communicates a lot, and he organizes, and he tries to communicate a lot and talk a lot, which is good balance for the rest of them. So he didn't start the first game, but in the other two games, he was like, to me, very impressive. In the final, I think, the third game, it feels like a final, but the third game, I think he was very impressive. He was playing against the very highly rated Canadian striker. I think his first name is Van. Yeah. So like, obviously I'm not familiar with that player, but like the parents of the players that play MLS Academy, they were gushing about this player. Matter of fact, that's not true. I've seen him play before. I saw him play at IMG, which is the competition where the MLS teams play. It's called GA Cup. Last year, and I think he plays for Real Salt Lake. And they're actually the ones that won the tournament, the MLS Academy tournament. He was very good. So, he had a very high rating coming in. So I think he didn't cause us that much problems because of how well Jason and Jaden in particular played. I think, Jaden and Jason are both very tall as well as the striker is. So I think a lot of the time, a lot of times kind of the ones that put that ball in the box for him to challenge. And I think at one point you saw him actually retreat in a way, kind of step off the line a bit where he wasn't challenging aerially against those two and trying to find some space in front of them to play, which he wasn't able to find as well. So I think those two did a really good job against their danger player.
But you forgot about Jason now, because you bring him up. So him center partner now, where him come from him, because you talk about him. So we have to bring him up. And yes, I noticed that. I could see that on the TV. It looked like the three tallest players on our team was Brown, and the two center back them. The keeper was pretty tall as well. It was clear. It was clear that there are two giant of a center backs, which is good. So hopefully them get up. But who is talk to about Edwards now, Jason Edwards.
Jason, they call John Terry. No,
John Terry.
I always first of all, I asked him. You're a Chelsea fan. I asked him if he knows who. No,
Liverpool fan, but
you're a Liverpool fan.
Praise that. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I just think that, like, I asked him, like, how did you get the name John Terry? Because he plays nothing like John Terry style-wise anyway. John Terry is one of these old-fashioned, center backs, rough and, like a Vidic back in the day from Manchester United. Whereas Jason is a more, ball playing. Ferdinand. More style-wise. Obviously, we're not talking about quality. We don't have to go that far, but we're talking about just a style of play. More like those type of players where he's very comfortable on the ball, very smooth. But I wouldn't say, even though he's tall, he's necessarily super physical. So yes, I don't know where the John Terry came from, but he's John Terry. So he plays for KC in the Money Cup, the team coached by the Jamaica assistant coach Basil Reynolds. So yeah, mainstay at KC as a centre back, and obviously played very, very well throughout this tournament. He was the one centre back that pretty much played all three games. So they were depending on him to be the linchpin of the defense, and I think once you had that combination between him and Jaden, I think it was a really, really good centre back pairing. I think going into the tournament, maybe there were some concerns about our defending, but you could see that the coaches did a lot of work particular in terms of when the ball is coming into the box, because that was an issue going in, and we didn't look shaky at all in terms of when Canada was putting the ball in the box. We look really dominant in the air, which you would expect from players that are that size. But I don't think coming into the tournament, it was all that clear that we were going to dominate in the air like that. So I think it was a testament to the players obviously doing, playing to the best of their ability, but also the coaches in terms of the work that they did in the lab. Because this wasn't a huge, long preparation period. It was a few camps, and they were able to do a lot of work in those few camps to get them up to speed defensively.
So Danny John is asking, because you never ask, you say, you ask him if you know John Terry, okay? You ask the right back if you know Shotty. So did he know John Terry?
No, he didn't know him. He didn't. I don't get the impression that he's any John Terry fan or he watches John Terry highlights, but somebody named him John Terry when he was young. I think one of his coaches. I don't know if it's because he was taller or because he played center back. I have no idea. But yeah, he knows who John Terry is.
Jason, watch some Van Dyke video. Just sit down and watch Peter Van Dyke.
No, you don't need to watch any more Van Dyke. You already thinking about these Van Dyke.
Gary.
Hola, Alex. Alex, we know you're there. Big up Kiri, but I bring in after. Okay, I don't know. We have to get Kiri expertise first, and then we'll go in at the bag. But go to. No, man, Alex, yeah, big up Kiri. Big up yourself and make people know you're there.
Big up yourself anywhere there in the world. I know you're there at Fort Lauderdale. Big up yourself.
You know him there? Kiri, somebody know where there?
Kiri, know me, man, for Instagram.
Kiri, somebody know where there?
You know Alex, man.
Somebody actually know where there?
I think Alex see the background and he's probably seen this background before.
Remember say always there Fort Lauderdale when they look at football tournament I go on and see where.
Yes, true.
Yeah. Scary, big up yourself anywhere in the world. You play a big role in the team for qualify. I tell you, Kiri, I feel proud. And you're supposed to feel proud of yourself because everyone that look at you and know you, Kiri, they look up to you. And I tell you play a big part in this team qualify. I hope going forward, again, we can have the same outcome and qualify again. But Kiri, my heart goes out to you and you put in the work, you and your team. And parents always reach out to you and you always do the background work. Nobody now say, but me want to come in and tell you, say, I really appreciate the work you do on the team qualify and the under 17 World Cup. We do deserve it from last year. We never qualify. And we come back to the drawing board again and qualify. So big up yourself anyway, the Kiri.
Yeah, big up, bro. Respect for that. I appreciate that.
Big up. How much players we left now? We left we talk about Jamon Lyle, some of the thing nothing more really that if say the man was he the man of the match though? Because I think he was the man of the match, but I don't
think the man of the match. Well, when you score 3 goals and he assists the first one and scored the second one, then more than likely, yeah, I would say probably.
More than likely. Nothing more enough to say about him. Can I just bring him up back because I just want you just said, man, I tell you, one time I see the youth I give some no look pass like Ronaldinho. The youth is just in an element when I time me I say, yo, what are you to get this confidence from? Kiri, me that watch a match. Have a virgin name Fire. Fire call me. Same time I say Fire. Jamon Lyle. Serious baller. Them afraid of him. You know when time people the Canadian defenders were terrified. Them afraid of him yesterday. Tell the truth. Them afraid of him.
Yeah, and I think the wing back had a warm time because he couldn't figure out what he was gonna do, whether he was gonna try to push it past him or he was gonna cut it back, drag back style, or he was gonna just play a simple pass to midfield. So yeah, it was unpredictable. And I think it's good because he's of the players that we have, he's quite two-footed. He's really good on both his right foot and his left foot. So sometimes I think he has a tendency, depending on what side he's playing on, because he's played both on the left and the right. So I think once he mixes it up and the wingback doesn't know which way he's going to go, I think he becomes really dangerous because he's not the quickest player in the world. He's quick enough, but he's very skillful. So if you dive into his first move, then he's already by you. So yeah, I think he had a good tournament, and I'm happy for him because it wasn't necessarily an easy road. Going into the tournament, there was some little rocky patches, but I think his dedication to trying to be the best that he could be, and to try to listen to what the coaches had to say in terms of what they wanted, I think it was good. So I was happy for him because I think he deserved it based on all the effort he put in to kind of really make himself the best player that he could be for the team.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the other side now, there's a player by the name of Kenai Bantan, people. Kenai Bantan was a number 11. Somebody has asked about number 11. Let me see what I can see right here. So not a lot of data animal as well. So you have to talk to him about, but I'm Kenai Bantan as well.
Yeah, Kenai plays for the Costa Cup champions. Well, Olivia Shield champions as well. He plays for St. Elizabeth Technical. On the wing. Unfortunately for him, yesterday.
Wait. You just say Olivia. Hold on. You just say Olivia Shield.
Didn't they win Olivia Shield? I don't know.
And the Excelsior win.
Oh, Excelsior. Why did I think? Yeah,
I'm alma mater. Hold on. I'm alma mater. That don't do that. Don't try to take anything from us. But continue.
You went to Excelsior?
Yeah, man. I get animal man. Where do you know Ryan from? My boss Ryan. I tell this story all the time. But go ahead. We are talking about Bantan.
So definitely didn't win Olivia Shield because that was Excelsior with Terrence and Kivan and Dam, right? Yeah. So yeah, but they won the Costa Cup. So yeah, he plays on the wing for Stets. Unfortunately for him yesterday, he got injured. Got a tackle in the first half where he had to come off, and then Justin Hales from Clarendon College replaced him.
Yeah. Okay. So all right, I'm gonna move it right along. So do I read? All right, so we did talk about Nolan, so I don't know if we have a lot more to say. I don't think so. People just have to look out for Nolan.
Yes, yesterday. Nolan is actually going back for a couple of days to Toronto, and then he's coming back to Jamaica because he's going to be training with the U20s. He's possibly going to be in the U20 team as well.
Oh, the U20 squad not drop yet? That drop already?
I don't know if it's been publicly released or finalized. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. But I know he's coming back for because they actually had a camp that started yesterday, leading into the tournament in Curacao. So he's going to go to Toronto and come back. And the same applies to Dwayne as well, to Kaka. He'll also be going to that U20 camp.
Kaka, Burger,
yeah.
Okay. And not last, I mean, we need to look at the subs them as well. But the man himself, Mr. Kelvin David Joshua Brown, Kelvin D. Brown, it was set up to be, and that's why it's such a great team sport, because everybody was expecting Kelvin to be on the score sheet yesterday. And see, the team really, he had a good game because he won all of it. He made a bully the defender them, he might win him head of them, he might hold up the ball, he might play good. But Kelvin Brown, I think that most of us would have known Kelvin Brown because of what he did under 14, under 15, and now with the under 17. Me know Kelvin Brown. Probably he was the player where most of us would have known. But Kelvin Brown, what can you say about Kelvin Brown?
So first of all, why are there so many Kelvin Browns? Because you know that they have about 5 Kelvin Browns that are like in and around the national youth teams.
We know the defender.
They have a player at Stats that's also called Kelvin Brown that almost made the U15 team.
Yeah.
So you could have actually had 3 Kelvin Browns in one team. But yeah, I don't know where the Kelvin Brown phenomenon comes from. But yeah, obviously, I think it's the only, if I can remember correctly, I think it's the only 2010 that actually made the final roster. So obviously a standout player at U14 CFU 2 years ago, and then the tournament in last year with the U15s. Obviously he plays for KC as well. Even when he's not scoring, he brings a lot to the game, obviously, right? Not only because of his size, ability to hold the ball up. And so when you have a player that can hold the ball up, and you have Nolan running on, and you have Lyle running on, and you have either whichever winger is playing on the other side running on, he's going to demand some attention from the central defenders, sometimes 2 or sometimes both. So that will leave space for other players to play in. So I think you could even see towards the midpoint of the second half, he was tired, but understandably you could see the coaches a little bit hesitant to take him off because of the fact that he can hold up the ball so well. So obviously that's your job as a coach, right? So sometimes a difficult decision as to, okay, when do you do that? Because you bring a player on now that can run at the defense, because the other attacking players that we have are not similar necessarily to Kelvin Brown style-wise. So we didn't have another player basically that was going to come in and hold up the ball like how Kelvin does. But you could have somebody that come and run at the defense and put them under pressure, etc. So that's a difficult decision every time when the player is kind of tired, but you still want that ability, that presence up front. So, you know, eventually they did make that change. But I think just generally throughout the tournament, he's a handful for the defenders. He makes space for the other attacking players that we have. And obviously he scored a hatful of goals in the second game. But, you know, his effectiveness goes beyond goal scoring, I think. And it's good for us to have, because obviously he's eligible again to play next year. And we should have a decent crop of players in terms of 2010s next year. But it's good that he's kind of forcing his way into a 2009 team as a starter when he's 2010.
Yeah, definitely. So people, how tall is Kelvin Brown? Kelvin,
he's tall. I don't know.
My boy 6'5".
6'4", 6'5", I would say.
He's a giant man. Because one of the things I always hear about youth development is that people like to say that and the ball that don't grow yet. He's not done grow yet.
Well, the thing with players that are big, especially at the youth level, sometimes it's hard to judge, right? Because he's played, like when he played U14 and U15, it looked like men against boys. Yeah. And as the other players mature and the physicality doesn't become as big an advantage as it is at U14 and U15, you're going to look now and say, okay, how can he cope? And he's coped well. You know, he's coped well with older players and bigger players and more physical players. And he's still able to do his thing. So it's a sign that hopefully he'll be continuing to develop. I think he has probably some opportunities. I don't want to go into that, but that maybe outside the country soon. So we'll see how that goes. But hopefully he continues to develop.
Yes, because Kelvin Brown actually, I don't know why him remind me of Seymour Reid, or just because Seymour Reid was, I would say, the center forward before Kelvin Brown. Mm-hmm. Why is he reminding me of Seymour Reid?
I don't know if he reminds me so much of Seymour Reid, because I don't really see the Seymour as necessarily that target type of player, even though he can do a little bit of that. I think Kelvin is probably more naturally suited to do that. They're both good goal scorers, you know, they're good finishers around the box. Quality wise, maybe not style wise, but maybe quality wise.
Yeah, Alex asks if Dam in the U20 camp.
Not that I know of.
Okay, definitely want to watch. Send Browns to U20s as well. You think it's what you think about this? What you think about this, real quick?
Send who to the U20s?
Kelvin Brown. Like, you think it's a step too far, too soon?
No, it may be a step too far. He's at 2010. That would be really pushing it, because the U20s are 2007 oldest, right? So it's very rare you're going to see a player 3 years younger than everybody else going to a tournament with U20. Obviously, it depends on the coaches, but you know, at U20 level, depending on who they're able to attract, you know, you have the ability to get some professional players as well. Yeah. So you'd think in a way that they would have more choice at U20, because I think U20 is completely different than all the other age groups, U14, U15, U17. Because U14, U15, U17, I think we compete with a little bit better, because even our domestic-based players are, even with all the drawbacks of not playing enough and not having good facilities and unevenness of the coaching, our younger players are very competitive across the region. When you watch us play at any of those 3 age levels, especially in recent times, we've been pretty good. U20 may be a little bit different story, because some of the teams we're playing against anyway are going to have professional players. And so I would think that if you have professional players, you just have more choice than to be using younger players. But obviously that's up to the coaches.
Yeah, understood. Make perfect sense. So well, I like these few youths as well, because I don't want to left out none of them. Jaime Bennett actually came on and scored 16 as well. Jaime Bennett. Anything I can tell you about Jaime Bennett as well?
Yeah, Jaime Bennett actually used to be in Jamaica. So he was born in Jamaica. I don't remember. I know he played for JC at one point, and then he migrated as well. So he went to New York, and then it kind of shows the quality of our players. Because you see all of these players migrating and they're getting right into MLS teams, MLS Academy team. Omari, the goalkeeper, was in that situation. Jamari's in that situation, and him as well. So yeah.
Yeah, Jaheim, Bennett.
So Jaheim actually played in the cycle last year. We actually had a series of games in New York, and he actually played in one of the all-star type teams that played against us in that tournament. Wasn't invited to camp, but I saw him again when the New York Academy team came to Miami to play Inter Miami. We had a lot of players from New York City, so I went to the game and he was playing again. So good for him to get invited this year. Good player, obviously. He started the first game and then came on in this game and I thought it was, I don't know, maybe just because of the pressure of the situation, I just thought it was important, that third goal, to kind of ease all the tensions of anything that could possibly crazy go wrong in the last minute. I think when just when you saw the ball, it was almost like slow motion with Jamari beating the player. When you saw, because I was like maybe 10 feet away from him when he made the cross. And when he made contact with the ball, I said that's a goal, because you could just see that there was another player in the middle. I don't remember if it was Mackenzie, but you could tell that the trajectory of the ball was going to pass the first player and was going to go all the way to the far post, and there was no way the defenders were going to get to it. So it was just going to be a matter of whether Jaheim kind of held his composure and finished it, which he did very well. So yeah, very good player as well.
So
they call him Jaja.
Jaja. How you all your composure for run on the field like a celebrate?
I actually did step onto the field like a bit. So you're not supposed to go on the field, obviously. So you're by the corner flag. But I was actually taking pictures. So you're allowed to be on the field if you're a photographer. So yeah, I pretend to be a photographer and take some have a camera and take some pictures. So yeah, I don't think I didn't run on like the physio and the doctor and some of the other ones did. But yeah, I was trying to concentrate on getting some images of them that they could use.
Justin Hills. What you call him? Come here, you call a player name from Dana. What you call him? Bop. Justin Hills. Talk to me now, because it seems like you say your favorite player this year. Are your second favorite player?
Is my favorite player Bop or is it Jamon Lyle?
You tell me. Because here, who is it? Right on the street is either Bop or Lyle. But anyways, talk to me about Bop.
Of course, I'm completely unbiased. I don't have any favorite players. But if I did have any favorite players, it would be one of those two. So yeah, Bop is the player from Clarendon College. So he missed out on the team last year, unfortunately. So yeah, good to see him first of all in the team, because I think he's one of our better midfielders. Coaches, I think, decided to use him more in a like off the bench, trying to change the game type role, because that's what he did in pretty much all 3 games. He came in a little bit earlier in this game because obviously Banton got injured in the first half, midway through the first half, and so Bop actually played on the wing, which he can play because he plays on the wing for Clarendon College. Probably he's more suited to be an inside player like a number 8. But I think he came in and did very, very, very well. Obviously, in that, what game was that he scored that goal? Was it the first game or the second game where he scored that goal from 25 yards out? He has that in his locker. Skillful player as well, very good ball handler. So maybe a little bit unnatural playing on the wing, but I think that was a sensible decision based on what was available to the coaches.
Yeah, it was the first game against
first game, yeah. Against
Aruba. But question, none of these players are left-footed?
Left-footed, you have Jelani, which is the center back that was on the bench. We actually don't have much left-footed players in this team now.
Oh, it just dawned on me that I couldn't remember seeing anything. So Bob, I think it was Kai Williamson. And so no, Kai Williams. I see him. I think I spoke about Kai Williams. Yeah, did you?
No, I don't think I spoke about Kai. Kai was a player that has been in the kind of around the program for a while. So the U15 that did really well in 2023, he was training with that team. I think he was like remember that was a 2008 group and he's a 2009. So he just didn't make the team. I think he was close to making that team, which is a team that did really well. So he was in the program from then, and then he went to U17 last year. So again, he was a year younger, right? Because again, it's 2008 and he was at 2009. So he kind of just missed out on the team last year. And so the dedication to continue, because it's not easy with the overseas-based players, because most of it is funded by their parents, right? So until the team is selected, when the team is selected, the JFF pays for the travel. But otherwise, it's the parents' responsibility. So all that long preparation for the last U17, the overseas-based players, when they were coming to any of the camps in Jamaica, they would pay. So that was a lot of camps. And then, you know, obviously you have no guarantee to make the team because one cool coaches think are the best. Didn't make the team last year, and the dedication to come back again in his age group now, because he's now 2009s, which is no longer is he 1 year younger like he was in U15 and U17 last year. This is his age group, and happily for him, he made the team and was a key player. I think he started the second game. I think our midfield is interesting because our midfielders, they're all so similar, not necessarily in terms of style because they play differently, but they're all very similar in quality. Like you could almost, depending on the game, just kind of flip a coin between Jaheim and well, no, Bap is my favorite, so Bap should start. But apart from Bap, Jaheim and Kai and others, I think you know, all have different qualities. You know, Kai is a combative player, very good technically. Can play higher up the pitch, like as a 10, but he can play also as an 8. So yeah, very useful player to have in a squad, whether you need him from the start of the game or off the bench.
But isn't Kai from Inter Miami? Isn't he from Inter Miami? Okay, yeah. Okay. So and where he's he left from Jamaica to Inter Miami, or
he's one of the true overseas developed players.
One of
diaspora, Jamaican parents, diaspora player. So he was born in the States and grew up there, and then obviously he comes to Jamaica every now and then, and obviously since the last 2 years he's been in Jamaica a lot because he's been at all these camps. So yeah, Inter Miami.
Yeah. JC saying Banton and Bembridge left-footed. Christopher saying Bob should have made
Bembridge kind of two-footed.
I guess they're hinting at something. How did he miss out? And Bob should have made the team last year. We're not going down that road tonight. Tonight is not the night for that.
We'll try to avoid controversies tonight and maybe talk about it another time. But
we're steering it to the positive. People have to know, you know.
I'll say I tend to agree with the comment though.
Yeah. Leave it right there. So people have to know that tonight another night for the another night that we are celebrating the youth them. You get me? I say we are celebrating the youth them. But Banton and Bembridge left-footed, Jesus saying.
Banton plays on the left. Is Bembridge left-footed? Maybe. He's kind of two-footed as well, Bembridge. Bembridge is also an interesting player. So when you get to him, we can talk about him now. Bembridge is a player from, is it Lacovia? I think he goes to Lacovia. So not one of the huge name schools, even though they've done fairly well in the Costa Cup recently. Yeah. Bembridge is interesting. His name is Tyrone. So he is interesting because I think he made a team as like the fourth centre back. But he's a very versatile player because I think he plays as a forward. People, Lacovia fans can correct me, but I think he plays for either as a forward or as like a midfielder for Lacovia. And yet he made a team as a centre back. I don't think he played centre back in the tournament at all. The times he came on as a forward and scored 2 goals in the second game. So he's a very interesting player because I think he's kind of, how do you say, like maybe raw in a way, not completely developed, but you can tell there's talent there because the second goal he scored was a beautiful goal. So you can tell he's talented, and maybe with a little bit more development, he could be a good player for the future.
Yeah. It's a saying I think Nolan will transition to a 8 when he gets older. And I think I can understand why he's saying that.
Mm-hmm. But think about it. I don't even know if that would be much of a transition because last year at U17, I suppose 8, because he was playing like he wasn't a main player in the team, so he was kind of playing wherever there were minutes available. But I think at that time his best position was probably 10. When he played for Toronto's MLS Next Pro team, the games that I've seen him play live, he almost played as like a false 9. So he can play false 9, he can play deeper, obviously as a 10, and instead of saying he could be an 8 eventually. And I kind of agree with that as well. I could see that.
Okay, so Bembridge did score another 12 love jabbing. We have a few more players to talk about. We could see if we can get them real quick. Who else played though? Let me see who else actually played first in the last game. I think Rajan Mackenzie.
Yeah, Rajan Mackenzie is a player from Mannings. He's a player that actually made the team kind of last second as well. He came to the last camp. I was so impressive that he made the team. He's a player that I was aware of before because I saw him play a final at Stets. I think it was I guess it must have been under 14 final. I didn't know him before that. And having watched him, I was asking some of the Mannings people, like, who is this player? And they were telling me. So when I heard his name as one of the ones that are coming to camp, it kind of rang a bell. And I think he's really good, tricky player, midfielder. I think he played some minutes on the wing here as well. But yeah, good player from the Manning school. You can't say Manning's High School because it's the Manning school.
The Mannings.
But yeah, he basically came to one camp and got this step all the way into the 21, which is impressive. I think he's also, I don't know if he plays much, but I think he's also a registered player for Reno, which is the big team down in that end of the island, the legendary Reno from Westmoreland. So, and I think if I heard correctly, they're in Tier 2. So hopefully you'll get some playing time with that Tier 2 team.
Okay, I think this is the first 15-year-old I'm seeing on the team. Jaime Gray, is he saying he's 15? He's a goalkeeper?
Oh, so I was wrong then, because remember we were talking about the 2010s and we were saying that Kelvin was the only one. I forgot about Jaheim. Jaheim is the goalkeeper, the backup goalkeeper. He was the ended up being the starting goalkeeper at the last U15 tournament. And then obviously we were talking about Omario earlier, and we were saying that Omario came like very late in the camps and was so impressive that the coaches picked him as the number 1. But I think if that had not happened, I think we would have been also comfortable with Jaheim as the number 1 because 15. I think he's a good player.
15 at 15, I think number 1. That's pretty young. Oh, pretty.
Yeah, I thought, just in my opinion, of the ones that we saw before Omario came in. Well, not only my opinion, because the coaches had him as the starter as well. So yeah, he was doing very well. He's developed a lot over the last couple of years because even at the U15 tournament last year, he didn't start the first game. But when he went into the second game, he played so well, and that he was basically the starter for the rest of the tournament. So a good young keeper to keep an eye on. Grown also a lot in the last, not only in terms of his play, but also his height in the last year or so. So yeah, he's a good player for the future, I think.
So that name you kind of ring a bell. Kemal Mattox. Didn't we have a Kemal Mattox before? No, Darren. Hold on. You never have a Mattox.
Yeah, I think of Darren Mattox in the Gold Cup.
No, we have Darren Mattox.
We had another Mattox.
I mix up Kemal Malcolm. I mix up
Kemal Malcolm and Darren Mattox.
Tul, yeah, all right. So, why me mix up Tula Mattox? Mattox was Bridgeport. Tul was... All right, anyways. Almost Mattox family, you know. Nobody can... Me don't know nobody named Mattox.
Not a very common name. They probably have some family relation somewhere.
Yeah.
Kemal Mattox actually was one of the ones that was recently in Jamaica. I think he used to play for Calabar from what they were saying. I don't remember him there, but that's what they tell me. And I think he recently migrated to the States. So he plays close to where I am in Florida. As a matter of fact, he has a final tomorrow, high school district final, I think. So hopefully I can get a chance to see it. Yeah, he was one of the 3 goalkeepers in the team. So he came to the process late as well, just the last camp, and impressed the coaches enough where he got a spot on the team. So yeah, another good young goalkeeper.
Christopher's asking where is he signed to Cavaliers. Who's asking? I think the young goalkeeper, the 15-year-old.
Yes, he plays for Cavaliers. Yes. Cavaliers. Well, he's registered for Cavaliers. Obviously we haven't seen him in Premier League or anything, but yeah, he's a Cavalier player.
Okay, Jelani Bradshaw, 16-year-old defender. This is it.
Left-footed defender. So he's another player that was he was at Inter Miami originally. That's where we first saw him, and he came to some of the scouting camps. And he's since left there and has gone to Atlanta now. So he plays for Atlanta United, also in MLS Academy. So yeah, one of the players that were in our kind of system last year as a younger player, and then obviously made the team. I think he was close to being a starter in the preparation period. Obviously, at the end of the day, they decided on Jay Sean and eventually Jaden, which are also very good players. But yeah, I think we had some decent center backs, and he's a left-footed center back. So obviously, if he played, he would have brought some balance. When he came onto the field in the second game, he played as a left back actually. I think because of the left-footedness. But yeah, another good center back.
Jude, we have our very own Jude.
Jude Law.
Jude Roy.
Yeah, Jude Royce, aka Jude Law. So he's another young player that was in our programs last year as a younger player. Played for a bunch of teams in Florida at different times. He played for Orlando City at one point. He's playing for Athletum now, which is our MLS next team. So yeah, another good winger. Tricky, always something happening with him. So yeah, didn't start the last game. He started the first game. He actually he was part of the creation of that very first goal that we scored in the game against Aruba, the one just before halftime that Kelvin Brown scored. He's the one that put it back, and then the ball came back deeper for Kelvin to score. So yeah, another good winger and another good player that had the kind of dedication, like I was mentioning with Kai, to kind of stick around, having gone through all of these camps last year, parents paying for him to come to all of these camps in Jamaica, not making the team, even though he was a year younger, and then the dedication to come back and try again, and do the same again, pay again, until you make the team. So that's something that we can probably talk about in the future in terms of how we solve that, because it's not an ideal situation, but it kind of is what it is right now, because you probably would say the federation can't afford to pay for players to come to camps and to trials and things like that. But yeah, the dedication of him to stick around and finding out that he's in his age group, make the team and make a good contribution. I think he had another assist as well. So yeah, I had at least I don't know if they call it Messi assist or it's the assist before the assist. So he had one of those, and then he
pre-assist.
Messi assist. So yeah, he played well.
Okay. So moving on to Lucas Anderson.
Yeah, Lucas is another player that plays MLS Next as well. So, and probably that's a whole show about how do we scout players and how do we know which ones are the best. Because you would think, just in terms of the structure, MLS Academy is at the top and then MLS Next is below that. MLS Next teams will sometimes play against the MLS Academy teams. So the scouting obviously starts most of the time with the MLS Academies, but this kid plays MLS Next. And to me, he was better than some of the players that were playing MLS Academy. So we have to figure out how we do that. But yeah, he's a player that plays in Maryland. I saw him at that tournament as well. I'd known him before, but I saw him again at the tournament in Arizona that I saw the goalkeeper. So yeah, good player. I don't know if he's really a winger. He got picked in the team as a winger, but I think it's kind of the reason that we didn't pick another backup forward, because he can play forward as well. I think he's probably, when he plays at this club, he plays as a striker. But I think naturally when he plays on a wing, sometimes he tends to drift inside and play more centrally. So yeah, a good player for the versatility of the squad, where you can play him on the wing, or if you need a auxiliary forward, you can play him there. 100 miles an hour, work rate, non-stop chasing the defenders. So yeah, I think he's dynamic. So I like him as a player.
Okay, all right. So we're moving right along, because I hear that you're running out of you're in a zone still, any element. I know like any element. But people know in another segment here, this is the Kieran never sent me video, Kieran. I know you sent me video, but all right, we'll show the video next time.
Okay.
That segment here is the Kerry James segment, people. And if you don't know Kerry James on Instagram, you're missing out. Kerry, I see you posted this, and it's very interesting. So The reason I'm finding it very interesting is why JFF reposted this. So the post goes something like, somebody posted the picture said to say qualified, and Steve and his friends couldn't do it. Lyle and anything get it done. I just find it very hilarious, bro. No, like, I have the most hilarious post you post. But I don't know why
I'm not
JFF
sure.
would
I'm not sure if I liked it that much, which is why I posted it on close friends. Because I don't think we necessarily have to use the success of the youth teams to beat the senior team.
Yeah, but
Different issue.
interestingly enough, no.
Mhm.
Why would JFF repost it?
Yeah, I wouldn't have myself. Because
That's the interesting part of
yeah.
it. That's the interesting part of it. That's the interesting part of it. But you know, come to think of it, but that's why I just want to bring up that we talk about the interesting part of it. Also wanted to highlight this as well. Jamon Lyle, special talent at the tournament again. Yeah, I think you also big up the coaches. I think miracle workers. These are what they.
Yeah, so the support staff. So that's the physio Kwanzi works with Cavalier as well, and Dr. Weeks. So if you notice in that picture, they're on the field. They're not attending to any player. I don't think. I think they were celebrating the goal. So you see the two players on the ground are two players that are actually celebrating. So they actually got overwhelmed with emotions and ran onto the field, which is nice. But yeah, that the work. I always say that, like, when I'm around the teams, whether it be the youth teams or the national team. National teams are a little bit, the senior teams are a little bit easier because they're really fully staffed. So you have like 3 different people that can do massage and physio, and you have like a huge staff. With the youth teams, obviously because of finance, it's not the same. So you'll have, a couple of coaches, maybe an assistant coach. And then in terms of the medical part, it's pretty much them, doctor and the physio. And all the recovery that needs to be done. Because remember, they play a game, they travel, they have a day off, and then they play a game. And they have another day off, and then they play a game. And they have 2 days off, and then they play a really, really important game. So there's a lot that goes on in between those games to keep the players fit enough to play in terms of their health, in terms of their nutrition, in terms of massage, in terms of physiotherapy, a lot of different things. And so these people, especially the junior teams, especially the youth teams, like when these people are away at tournaments, it's like if they're away for a week, they're pretty much working 24/7 is being dramatic, but they're pretty much working like long hours. So after the game, they're preparing stuff, they're doing work on players, and then they're preparing stuff for the next day. So it's like a really, really hard work. The equipment people as well. I don't think I had an equipment person in that picture. But the equipment people and the physios and the doctor, I think they're kind of doing probably like 2 people's work each because of how much work it is to do, and because you can't necessarily afford to have a huge staff at a youth tournament. And I think probably most teams go through that, except for the really big teams, the USAs, etc. They may have a staff that looks like their senior team staff. But yeah, these guys deserve a lot of credit for basically ensuring that the players can make it through the finishing line to play all of the games of the tournament and actually survive, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. Before we talk about that picture here, Danny J is asking, check how much players migrated not because of football. One Jamaica anywhere you live are born. But I think the reason why I think he said this as well, you actually talked about a few of the players and then he said they migrated. Me hear it as well. Me hear you talk about a few of the players and then you say he migrated. So it was very interesting. I think that's where Danny J is coming from with that as well.
And I'm not sure if I necessarily need to use the word migrated, because I guess migrated may be like a loaded word. So I don't know the individual decisions of them, whether they went because their parents are there. So Nolan's mom lives in Canada, for example. So I don't know each individual situation as to whether they went for football directly or whether they just went to be where their parents were, and because there's football there, they get into a team. So yeah, I can't go over like individual situations of each player. I just know, for example, those, why I say migrated is I wanted to kind of show the ones that played in Jamaica at some point and then they're no longer playing in Jamaica, just to give people an understanding of their background. But yeah, I don't know if it's really, if it's family situations or if it's football first or if it's a mixture of both. Yeah, I can't go individually, player by player to tell you which one is which.
Okay, Boss Thomas is asking, is there incentive for countries that qualify for Youth World Cups? I know that the first incentive I know is that them get a better draw next year, but actual incentives, what are the incentives for qualifying for the World Cup? I know, say they seen a team, I get 9 million US. What I guess. I don't know.
So let's start with the better draw next year, because the way the U17 works now is groups of 8, right? So if you qualify for the World Cup, then you're going to be in the 8, which is why we were in the second 8s after what happened the last time. So we could have drawn Mexico or USA. Happily we didn't. I thought we actually got a pretty decent draw because Canada is a country that they're kind of up and down, I think, a little bit. They have 1 year where they have a nice group of players. Like U15, this last one that just passed, I don't think they did very well. So it's kind of hard to predict. When I heard about Canada coming into this tournament, people were saying, "Oh, this team is going to be trouble." I didn't know enough about them to know that was true or not. I didn't get the impression just watching the games that they were as good as people said they were coming in. But yeah, that to me, that is a big advantage, because if you look at what happened this year, 6 of the teams that qualified last year qualified again this year, right? Mexico, USA, Panama, Haiti, Costa Rica, Honduras, those 6 teams qualified last time and qualified again this year. So really, if you think about it, the only difference between last year and this year, I know some of the groups are close and we're that by goal difference, but in terms of who qualified, Jamaica beat Canada to qualify, and then El Salvador did not qualify. So Jamaica,
which was the team that beat you last year.
So they didn't qualify, yet we did. So that's kind of interesting that's the way it worked out. Perhaps we probably should have qualified last year. But that's life as well. But yeah, it's good. For example, next time, and not to say that because we're going to be in the first group that we're going to qualify again, because the second group is going to include Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. I think was it Dominican Republic that tied with USA, and Puerto Rico I think just lost out on goal difference to Costa Rica. So that those groups have gone either way. And then you have Canada again, you have El Salvador, which can be good or bad depending on the year. So yeah, so it's not necessarily automatic you're going to qualify because you're in the first group, but it's better than having the chance to draw Mexico or USA. In terms of the financial part, I don't think so. I can't say that I know, but yeah, youth football in general doesn't kind of carry that kind of financial backing. So I don't know if there's, for example, any money for preparation. Because, from now until when the World Cup is, you'd like to have better preparation than we had going into this tournament, if possible. So does FIFA give any money towards that? I can't. I don't know that for sure.
Okay, so for me, incentives, and again, I'm going to talk about this to the back end of the show, but the incentive that I can think of is that these youths are going to get the opportunity to be on the world global stage. For sure. And as we can see with Liverpool buy a centre from the last U17 World Cup from, I think it's Senegal, or an African country. So these youths will get the chance to really showcase themselves to the world, and they'll get opportunities that come from that beyond above everything.
Well, I'm so happy that they qualified. When we were trying to qualify last year, as part of kind of motivating the team, we always did some videos. We got some videos from those players that had qualified for the World Cup in 2011, Romario Williams and some others, to kind of send us a video just as a motivational thing. And they always talk about it. As a matter of fact, the last time I was in Jamaica, I don't remember what game it was that we're playing World Cup qualifying, and I went up to the office to pick up something, the JFF office to pick up accreditation. And Romario Williams walked in. And we were talking about it. And as a matter of fact, on the right as you walk into the JFF office, there's a big picture with the last U17 that qualified in 2011. And he was like pointing to the players and saying which one of these got contracts Because basically I think we played France, if I remember correctly, in that tournament and tied with them. And so obviously their eyes on you now. Even this game, even though we're not in the World Cup yet, so we haven't played in the World Cup games yet, even this game against Canada, which is a fairly highly rated team, at least in the region, with some players that played, like are some of the better MLS Academy players that people are looking on to either go to MLS team or somewhere else. For Jamaica to beat that team 3-1, now people are having some eyes and saying, maybe this Jamari Nolan is pretty useful. Maybe this Jamon Lyle is pretty useful. And we haven't reached, and we haven't even played in the World Cup yet. So when we play in the World Cup, we're playing against the actual global teams now, depending on who we draw. Eyes are going to be on the players, and it's always the good thing about having that kind of success, which is why it's kind of frustrating sometimes when we don't always put our full effort and making all the decisions towards the team qualifying. Because when a team qualifies, you get all of these advantages.
Yeah, definitely. And one I think maybe before, we're not sure, take a look at some of the past players, because you just mentioned them, and I think I saw the videos, but I never put it together to say that, oh, those were some past players from the former record. But when you're saying it to me now, but when I ignore the look on your screen and identify the photographer in the back, you know, say we always get one of these. We always get one of these shots. We always seem to get one of these shots in every single game.
What was the score? Is that after we scored?
3-1. There is Gary.
I don't know why did they allow the photographer to have the same color as Jamaica? And then the other color, so that was green, and the other color that they've used is yellow. Yeah, so it's yellow or green. Yeah. Very biased towards Jamaica.
People, Gary's always there, man. Gary's always there. I just have a few other ones. These are good because I can show these. I just look at them. So Jamaica upset Canada in U17 World Cup qualifiers. So here's the thing about this post. You see the word upset Canada, as you say. Can you just explain about Canada up and down sometimes, but it's still seen as an upset because. Go ahead.
Well, I suppose Canada. I suppose going into the tournament would be an upset because Canada was the number one ranked team, and we were the number 2 seeded team. So, like, if you expect all the number 1 seeds to qualify, the 6 that qualified again would, El Salvador would instead of Cuba, who finished ahead of them, and Canada would ahead of Jamaica. But I think when you look at the tournament, I don't think you could say that. The first of the round games we played, we beat Aruba 3-0. And then Canada beats Cayman 3-0. So I watched that game. I stayed and watched that game. And I was very surprised. I didn't know that much about Canada, their team for this cycle. But when I saw that they beat Cayman 3-0, that kind of set alarm bells ringing that maybe they're not as good. Because I expected Cayman to be by far the weakest team. And it turned out to be that way. I expected Aruba definitely to be better than them. So for us to beat Aruba 3-0 and they only beat Cayman 3-0, that really set us up for the second game where we could hammer Cayman. And once we got to, I think, what did you get to 12? I don't think there was any way that Canada, based on how they were playing, was going to beat Aruba by that many. So obviously that put us in the driver's seat to where we only need a draw to qualify. So if you look at a tournament, by the time we get to the last game, I don't think you could really call it to upset. Maybe going into the tournament.
So somebody said Canada was ranked number 3, Jamaica was ranked number 11. No, the reason why I'm glad you already made a point for me that I wanted to make and this ranking. So I'm understanding all of that. So when I saw 12, Jamaica dropped the 12 love and came on, as you say, and them only give them 3 love. You could use that as something to as a guideline to say, if we can get them 12 and them not get them 12, that means that they are not that way ahead of us. Now, I understand the thinking behind that. However, remember that last year we were in a similar position, meaning literally the same. We were leading on goal. I think not on goal difference. We were leading on goal difference, or we were leading group on points.
No, 6 points, 6 points. It was goal difference. Yeah. 6
points. Last year, the same thing. With an El Salvador team that is even lower ranked than Canada. They were lower ranked than us.
Yeah,
That's
they
how
were. We were in the top seeds, and they were in the second group of seeds. So yeah,
exactly.
we were higher than them.
So watch this now. Last year we got a swoop group, and we somehow didn't make it. Now this year we get Canada ahead of us, and this is what I'm always saying. It's like we're a team where I don't know. For me, I like when we play teams where we know what's at stake. We know say that team here is ranked ahead of us, so we punch above our weight. It seems like I don't know, for some other reason. I think that when we have to punch above our weight, complacency doesn't really creep in as much. I don't. You know,
I don't know if I would say it's complacency though, because I think you would probably be right if, for example, last time. Because remember, last time we were in the top group of seeds.
Yeah.
So to be honest, El Salvador, even though we're better than El Salvador, we were then and we are now. I think El Salvador is actually one of the harder teams that we could have drawn. We could have drawn. I think Bermuda was in the second group of teams. So if we got a little bit lucky with the draw, we could have drawn an actual much weaker team. So I don't think we went into the El Salvador game because El Salvador traditionally it's sort of like kind of in a way they're up and down at youth level. There's some years that have a really good team. That the year we had a really good U20 team with Tarek McGee and we tied with Mexico. El Salvador had a really good team that year. So I don't think it's because we went into the game complacent or we didn't think El Salvador was good why we didn't play well. I think there were probably other factors.
Yeah, well, I didn't talk about that specific game. I'm just talking about the facts. We have to play above. I would say not one level, but I play teams that rank above us for some reason. And it seems like we have Canada ticket. That is, you know, a bridge enough mindset. It's Canada, bro. It seems like somehow we have Canada ticket or we're their bogey team, or I don't know what's this thing with Canada. So I don't want to say Canada, but it seems like for me, when we have to play above our level, it's like, for me personally, I think we can get the job done. I know that there's a lot of times it depends on the team, but I think our personal probably me I will on hope for say Jamaica go play New Caledonia and then we're gonna play DR Congo. we are looking up to, so probably I set up that plot there. And it's just a me thing, but I'm thinking that we're gonna punch above our weight, and this is the start of punching above our weight. What was this shield about though? What was the trophy about? Like, and then there's people who can't see win at the background again. When they can't, because what was the trophy about? Did they always win a trophy for qualifying? This is new?
If I remember last year, it was something similar. Because obviously we were in tears last year, so could barely see after the game against El Salvador. But I think it was also the same where you have like a little. It's actually I actually when I looked at it first, I thought it was just like it's actually made of some kind of it's heavy. But yeah, I guess it's just something that commemorates that you've qualified for the World Cup, which is good. So it's not a trophy, but something like a shield, yeah.
It's a plaque or a shield. Okay.
Plaque, yeah.
And guess who they have the plaque, people? Guess who? The man is in between the two center half here.
Two center halves. So in the next life, I'm going to be tall like that, and I'm also going to be able to play center back. But yeah, not this life.
Yeah. All right, I wanted to bring up this last and not least, right? So Donzel, what do you make of the coach? He created history. History that he created is actually he's the head coach qualifying 3 teams to the World Cup now.
Yeah, all 3 teams that we qualified at U17 level, it was him.
All 3 teams, he was the head coach for all 3 teams.
I think it was, somebody can correct me in the comments, but I think it was about 99, 2011, and now 2026, I believe. Yeah.
So what do you make of the coach though? Because I think on the sideline, I can't see well you were there, but on the sideline, Vassar Reynolds was there as well. But he's not very outspoken in terms of, I think I hear more Vassar Reynolds. I don't know if me I see wrong, but you know when I shout coach in my ear loudly.
I think that's how it is, and I think that's how they planned it, which I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it.
No, I didn't say anything is wrong with it, you know. Yeah. I didn't say anything's wrong with it, but I'm just saying that
I think that was a plan though. For Vassal to be the outspoken, the one giving the instructions mostly. Not to say that the other coaches don't, because Mr. Donzel will if he has something to say, he'll stand up and say. Because usually in these tournaments, you're allowed to have one coach standing at a time.
Yeah.
So most of the times it'll be Vassal, but if the coach wants to make a point, he can. So that, I guess they just figured that was something that's they wanted to do and that they thought it would be effective, and clearly it was effective.
What do you make of the coach though himself? Like 3 World Cups. What do you make?
Well, the experience of doing it. So obviously I don't want to go too much into some of the other things, but like there's a lot of things that go around teams in football in Jamaica. So you have to be strong to be able to make the decisions that you want to make, and I think he was. So both in terms of team selection, in terms of the team itself that went to the tournament, and then obviously however the coaches work together to actually pick the teams that are going to play, and however they work together to make the changes, etc., etc. But there's something to be said for experience and somebody that's done it before, and clearly is good at doing it. Because we've had other coaches at different times throughout the different teams throughout the years in between when we qualified, and we haven't been able to do it again. So you have to give him great credit for the experience of having done it before and then being able to replicate it, because this is not like he did it and then he did it 2 years later and he did it 2 years later. This is almost a completely different generation. Almost 2 different generations from when he did it the first time. So players have changed, the game has changed, the way that you prepare teams have changed. A lot of things have changed, and yet he's still able to put together a team, not with a huge amount of preparation, and qualify a team that I don't think people were expecting to qualify, to be honest, for some of the reasons that I mentioned before. And so the fact that he was able to do it, he deserves great credit.
Yeah, definitely. So really, people, Kerry, every time you forward on the show, I tell you, wealth and knowledge make you. Tomorrow I'm there at work, I watch over that show, and go back to through some of the players them and make sure say, because that was a real education. Again, if there's anything else we'll leave off, because we can actually talk about the 5 things, but I don't want to get you involved in that, because you already say you don't really want to overshadow, and I tried my best not to overshadow the youth them, to be honest. We give the youth them flowers, but then we still have 5 things where I think we can learn from the triumph of the U17 teams, where I want us to implement in the senior team. Again, that's the name of the video, but they really want to give the youth them flowers and not shortchange them. And I think I did. I think I tried my best, and I think I did. But is there anything else where me leave off for you that just want to say congrats to them, something else? And the show name Boys to Men. It's the play and show, boy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I probably won't go, like you said, too far down the road of how it affects the senior team, but maybe just to wrap up and talking a little bit more about the youth teams, and maybe some of the things that we need to do more of or do better to make the teams more consistent, because it's not easy for a small team like Jamaica to qualify when we're playing sometimes against teams. I don't know how many million people kind of have. No, it's about 40 million or something like that. And it's a wealthy country, and it's a country that has 3 MLS teams. So it's the advantage that they have facility-wise, population-wise, financial-wise is clear. So for us to give ourselves the best chance to qualify each time, we have to do some of the basic things, which is to identify players. I know we had a little bit of a local versus overseas argument that we didn't go too far into. But I think we have to identify the better players, not only overseas, but also in Jamaica, because I think sometimes the way the structure works in terms of scouting, I think the scouting happens mostly at the younger age group levels, like for U14. And it doesn't continue necessarily into U17 because of the fact that the funding for scouting comes mainly from FIFA through the TDS, and the TDS is the younger age group. So maybe we have to do a better job of scouting, comprehensive scouting the local players. I think we did a little bit this year before I think Melissa hampered, because I think I saw the JFF going into the coaches, going into different parishes, assembling a all-star team, and the coach is looking at them. So that if you do that in all 14 parishes, and hopefully you're actually going to be seeing all the best players so that the coaches can choose. So that would be good to continue. And then I think there's a big probably hole in terms of the scouting of overseas players, because wherever you are in the spectrum of local versus overseas, I think most people, with a few exceptions, are open to the idea of giving opportunities to heritage players to play. How much in terms of balance it should be is a debate that we can have. But if we're going to have heritage players in the teams, I think we need to find the better ones. And sometimes I think it's a little bit too haphazard the way that we identify players from overseas. I think we should have something year round where we're not just, and maybe outside of the coaching staff as well. So to where maybe there are specific people that even now we're in February now, we're thinking about the World Cup because we just qualified. And so all the coaches are going to be thinking about, rightfully so, how we're going to prepare the team to do the best we can in the World Cup. There should be somebody already thinking. It can be also the coaches, but I think it's good to have support where there's somebody already looking at the 2010s, which we have a good bunch of local players, domestic-based players that can form the core of a squad. Okay, how are we going to supplement that with some overseas players that are really good? And if you want to do that because remember, it's every year. So in a couple months, matter of fact, right after we play the World Cup, we probably would have already had to have started preparation for the next one, because the tournament is soon. Like the World Cup is in November, the tournament is in like February. So you have to start the preparation before the World Cup even probably is played. So at least in terms of knowing who the better players are, making sure they have a passport, because sometimes we identify players late in the process and we don't have time to get them a passport. So I think all of that stuff we have to be thinking about that. So if we're doing like really intensive overseas scouting, and again, it depends on how many players we're going to bring in. It doesn't necessarily have to be wholesale. It can be, especially the youth levels, under 17 and younger. I think it can be a base of domestic based players that are good, because those are the ones you're going to be able to keep together and train and without having to spend a lot of money. And then you have to supplement them with overseas players that are good. But in order to get those players, you have to do the groundwork way before. Not only finding out who they are, trying to get them interested in, not necessarily interested as in trying to talk them into it, but showing them that Jamaica is a possibility and a viable possibility, and get your passport in case you want to play in the future. And so when it comes time to pick the team for even the camps, then that part is out of the way. Because if that part is not out of the way, then that's a huge headache that you're bringing players to camp. You have no idea whether they're going to get a passport in time. I said that's an issue. So some of those little things I think we have to think about in terms of how we handle the U teams going forward. Because we had some success at youth level. Like the U15 from 2023 got to the semifinals of CONCACAF League A. The only teams that were better than us were Mexico, USA, and Haiti. And then look at us qualifying for the World Cup now. And in between, we had a U14 team that won the CFU, and we had a U15 team that won their portion of the CONCACAF. So we have a base of good players. It's just that we have to put them in a structure and then supplement them with other players and have everybody working on the same page. Coaching, administration, everybody has to be on the same page and have the same goal in mind and be working towards that goal. And if that happens, I think we can have more consistency in terms of the youth teams qualifying more teams.
Because it's a World Cup every year until 2028, if memory serves me right? For the U17.
I think it'll continue to be every year. I think the 2028 is just the fact that it's in Qatar.
Qatar. Oh, okay.
So they may switch the location possibly, but I think it's still going to be every year for U17.
For U17, okay, which is a good. You think it's a good thing, right? What do you think of that?
It's a very good thing. The only thing I'm concerned about is what I said before about the years, the odd year versus the even year. Because if the U17 is every year and the U14 and U15 is every 2 years, then I just think you're always on that other year, that odd numbered year. With a country like Jamaica that doesn't have, it's not like the USA where every couple months they're preparing a team for 2 years down the road. We don't have the finance to do that. So we're always going to be picking the players that are the right age, right? 2008s or 2010s or 2012s as opposed to 2009s, 11s, and 13s. So we don't want to be where, it's funny, we actually qualified to the World Cup on the odd year. on the year where it's 2009s who don't have experience in a tournament. So 2010 should be strong, but what are we doing in terms of 2011s? So those are things that you have to think about. I'm sure there are people in the federation. Andrew is now the technical director, so I think there are people that are going to be putting thought into that, of how we do that, which is not always easy because we're talking about funding. And whenever you're talking about funding, there's not a lot of funding to go around. So, but I think we have to be thinking about those things like from now to make sure that our team is strong every year, not just the even numbered years.
Yeah, two things that you just said. One, I think myself included, but not a lot of us thought about or thinks about the passport aspect that goes into the heritage players at youth level. We think about it at the senior level, but somehow we never think about that at the youth level yet.
It's a big thing. So a lot of the things that I've been doing the last year and a half was that it was easier when we started. Because when we started, we had camps in Coral Springs in Florida, where people would come and, you know, whoever is good, plus invited players that the coaches select, they come and try out for the team essentially. And so you have 40 players there. You can get in front of their parents at the end of the camp and say, hey, thank you for coming. If you're ever interested in playing for Jamaica, the very first thing you need to think about is getting a passport. Because a lot of these players, the US ones especially, are in the US system. So that they'll play regional, they'll be invited to regional things, scouting camps for the USA. And there's not necessarily any reason that you can't do both in terms of getting a Jamaican passport, even if you haven't made up your mind whether you want to play for Jamaica. At some other point, you can make that decision, but you can't make that decision if you don't have a passport. So we have multiple situations and examples of good players that the coaches wanted, but didn't make the team because they didn't have a passport in time. I think people think sometimes that it's just, okay, the tournament's in February. Oh, it looks like I'm going to get selected in November. Let me start doing the passport. So it's going to be too late most of the times. So that's why I think you need to have, even if you're not having the camps, you need to have someone that's even sometimes separate from the coaching staff or that's affiliated with the coaching staff or whatever, that is looking into that aspect and saying, okay, if the coaches are looking at this player, then somebody reach out to that parent and say, hey, obviously we're not telling you you're going to be in the team or anything, but you know, there's a possibility that the coaches are interested in your son in terms of playing for Jamaica's national team. If you have similar interests, then these are the steps that you need to take to start the process and make sure that it's completed by the time we start talking about camps. So yeah, that's really, really important, I think.
Yeah, the other thing that you had mentioned and I wanted to say, not necessarily ask you about, is that the way you mentioned about the players or the parents have to pay before they get selected is very interesting, because I don't think a lot of us thought about that. And I know, for me personally, I always think about the US system where it's basically pay to play, where you have to pay to get your kids into the academies, we call them travel football, which is a lot.
Regular youth club football.
Regular youth club football, yeah, literally have to pay something which is totally different from, understand what you're saying, travel. Paying for your travel, which even those football, I think you still have to pay for your travel. So again, you already made mention of that to say that's something that the Federation can take a look at in the future as well, to see how best that can fix.
Because I think the problem you have is, and if you look at it, that's why with the younger age group teams, U14, well, we don't really use any overseas players at U14. Sometimes at U15, there's a couple, and then at U17 is where we use them mainly. It's really the reason why we use mostly US-based players for a couple of reasons. The main places that we have heritage players is, we have them all over, but mainly in the US and some in Canada, but US and England, right?
Yeah.
So we tend to use a lot of US players at that younger age group, 15 and 17, because one, what you just mentioned about the pay to play, the parents are probably used to the pay to play. So the fact that they want to play for Jamaica and Jamaica is asking them to do a similar thing, it's a little bit more palatable to them than somebody, for example, that's in England that's not used to that. When you ask a player and you tell them they have to pay, then maybe it's more of an issue. And then obviously England is further than the USA is for the most part. So the tickets are going to be more expensive as well.
More expensive, yep.
So that's the question we have, because if you think about it, generally you would think the better players that we have available to us are probably in England, not USA. But how do you get those players to be in the youth teams if you're going to prepare them properly and have a lot of camps? Who's going to pay for it? How is it going to be funded? I think that's always the biggest quandary because people always think, okay, why don't we just get all the best English players and we have a good team? And I guess that's part of the reason. How do you finance it?
Yeah, that's a good one because that was something that I noticed. I'm like, even the Canada team, you had players from Europe, and I'm like, why don't we have no players from Europe? But you just explain it. Thanks for explaining it because it puzzled me as well, and no, it makes sense because that make a lot of sense. But yeah, I think I have two other questions here. Is there any players from this team that can play in next year's World Cup? I think you had explained that because you say this is literally the odd year, so I guess we'll have a whole handful or more that can play next year's World Cup.
When they said next year's World Cup, are they talking about U17 again?
Yes, U17 again.
Oh, well, that would be 2010s, right? So it's most of these players are 2009s. The only 2010s are Kelvin and the goalkeeper that you mentioned, Jaheim.
So it's only the two?
Only those two can play again.
The odd year, because I was trying to understand it. Oh, it's 2010.
Yeah, because when I was talking about the odd years, it's because all the tournaments are not every year. The U17 is the only one that's every year. U14 is every 2 years. U15 is every 2 years. So if you were 2009 in 2023, it would be hard to make the team because the U15 was for 2008s mainly. So Jamari made a team, Bak made a team, Berger made a team, but those are the only three, I think.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
And then the prior year, U14, you would have had the same problem because the U14 would have been for 2008s again. So for you to make the U14 team would have been hard. For you to make the U15 team the following year would be very hard. So by the time you get to U17, you're at a disadvantage really because you haven't had the experience of playing U14 and U15. So like, for example, next year, so this is why we did a very good job qualifying this year because this is the odd year. Next year with the 2010s, those 2010s played U15 last year.
You see, okay, no, I get it.
So yes, they're going to be, you're going to have a team, hopefully, and depending on who we pick from overseas, we're going to have a team full of players with experience, 2 years of experience of tournaments. So you have a better chance. And obviously you could think of it that, okay, the other countries have the same issue. It just depends on which country. Like if you're talking about USA, they don't have that issue because they're preparing the teams all year round, pretty much in regions and different things, kind of probably the same. So maybe it's the smaller countries, we have the same issues, but I think we're at a disadvantage when we compare ourselves to the bigger countries, which is why we did great because again, Canada is a huge country with great facilities, with MLS teams, with money, and we were able to beat them with players that, for the most part, didn't play any CONCACAF or Caribbean tournaments. So I think the kids deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah, big up yourself, Campus. The importance of qualifying for the Senior World Cup, some of the 9 million could go into funding the youth football program. I think so as well.
Remember, the senior teams are what pays for everything. So I did mention that there are issues funding-wise for the youth programs. But yeah, the youth program doesn't make any money. So everything which is why we always need to qualify the senior teams because that's where you're going to be able to fund everything else, whether it be youth football or anything else.
Understood. Who's the coaching staff for the U20? I think I have that information about. I think you know that information off the top of your head.
Yeah, the U20 coach is Rudolph Austin, the coach of Portmore, and his assistant is actually Mr. Downswell.
His assistant is Mr. Downswell?
Yeah. There's been a third coach there. I don't want to say his name because I don't know officially if he's an assistant coach or not, but there's a third coach that was, for example, Mr. Downswell was away with the team this week, and Wednesday when we played against Canada, the U20 camp had already started. We had a U20 camp that's going into the tournament. So obviously Austin would be there with his other assistant giving him support. So I don't know how it works in terms of the tournament, who goes to the tournament, but yeah, he has other support.
Okay. Thank you for addressing that, job saying Jordan said me I keep. Jordan, I just needed to understand and he explained that. He explained. Okay. Are you involved in U20 recruitment? Boss Thomas is asking.
Am I involved? That's a loaded question. Because because there have been some recent issues. I think we'll just leave it there. There's been some recent issues in terms of my role, and so whatever involvement I had, it's kind of I don't know if I'd say up in the air, because for example, some of the U17 players that played last year, I was able to facilitate them, the ones that the coaches wanted to facilitate them coming to camp, and I think at least 2 of them. I don't know what the final squad is going to be, but they'll be close to the final squad, I would think. And some other players as well, but I don't necessarily want to get into the other players because that's I guess we'll see when the squad is announced.
All right, Kerry. Boy, every time you forward it, and then you take 2 years down the line for forwarding. I say, but guess what? Perfect timing, bro. This has been amazing.
You can talk about U20 the next time, so it won't be that far in the future.
Okay, people, you hear him say him still there, so it's up to you if you want to go talk before, during this time. Cause I know you know during. I'm no say you can do it. I'm no you can do it. So during camp.
Who said that I'm allowed to be there? You see,
Kerry, you will be there. Kerry, me tell you, I've never seen him miss that game, bro. But enough respect here. It's always an honor and pleasure. It was great. I think we get all insight without even going into. We just keep it positive and keep it 100, bro. Continue great work we are though. Believe me, it don't go unnoticed. Don't go unnoticed, bro. Honestly. And just continue putting great work. Is me. I don't know where you find a passion and a love your for football, youth football like that, bro. Just continue doing the great work we are doing. And again, boys, they make you proud, and you're the biggest cameraman. I know that we'll get them shots. I can't believe in the video. Right now, watch the video, you know, people carry. Take one video of the boys.
I was gonna say, but you're going to move on to the next topic. So when I jump off, I'll send it to you, so you can give them a sneak preview.
Yeah, man. Carry a sleek. A sleek thief the man, not thief. A sleek got permission to use the man.
Oh yeah, I got a message. I was like, oh, sleek. I know sleek. Yeah, please do post it.
Guys, I see it over there. And I think we see it somewhere else in the video gone about the place.
That was so haphazard too, because like obviously I didn't know it was gonna happen, and then I was just in fact it was after I did an interview with Jamari and with Coach Downswell. Yeah. And so first when we did the celebration, I was taking pictures and whatever, and then they were rushing because they wanted to do the interview. And then after we did the interview, I was walking back towards the locker room, and he started hearing, like when we got close, he started to hear them singing loud. Like I was saying, like, why don't we sing that loud, like during the actual anthem? Because I'm always saying that, like, I love, like, when, you know, you ever hear Italy sing their anthem. I think it kind of intimidates the other teams. I would love us to do that actually, like before the game. But yeah, they were loud, like, yeah. When I was getting close to the locker room, they were loud. I said, Mr. Downswell said, yeah, man, go try and catch the end of it. So I just ran up the stairs the fastest I could in my old age, and then caught just the end part of it. So it was good.
It was amazing, man. Is this true though, Kerry, before you leave? Kerry's a great past youth footballer for Chester as well.
Great. I did go to Manchester.
Kerry, they have 2 left with Kerry.
I played football. I went to Manchester and I played football. So I don't know about the great part.
You know, it was a great pass.
Wow. It looked like we tend to use the word great a lot, because I wouldn't go there, but I could play football a bit.
Yeah, but Kerry, it's a pleasure, man. I'm not telling you, it's a pleasure, bro. I had to do this show, bro. I did a video before saying that we were gonna qualify. I keep that video up because I did a video like 2 o'clock in the morning. Because I'm like, game day. I'm gonna say nobody here post body with them. I do a thing, mama, after the video. I went to work the morning and I was so sleepy, but my day after the video and get it in common. No, we ever qualify. It's about Kerry. Because myself, I actually do the 5 things. I'm gonna try and do it in like 15 minutes because it's not a lot. The 5 things, so I know you got there in the background here, and I say,
I'll watch a little bit of it.
Yeah, mama, people that Kerry, big up yourself. I don't know. The U20 team, Kerry promised us to be here. So you'll be here.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about U20.
No, yeah, big up yourself, Kerry.
All right, bro. Yeah, man, respect.
Bless up. So people, Kerry. So we can talk about the 5 things real quick. The 5 things, as I said, the show name, 5 things Reggae Boys must learn from the U17 World Cup qualification. The first and foremost thing is that players on the field taking responsibility. I'm going to say this, people, because I know, say, if you're like me, one of the things when me don't want to see is that Whisper come out and say I'm supposed to get more than 10 minutes. I agree. Say Whisper should have get more than 10 minutes. Whisper come out there, draw the penalty that wasn't given after VAR overturn it, but him should have get more than 10 minutes. However, Demar agree that play right wing before Whisper did out there. So as much as Whisper come on and him should have get more than 10 minutes and could have make an impact. Dimi did out there. Shamar did out there. Cephas did out there as starters. Bobby did out there. Hayden did out there. Freddie out there. All our players them were out there. Take responsibility. Regardless of who not get 10 minutes or who get more than 10 minutes, who they out there, get the job done. And that is what we see the youth them do yesterday. The youth them took the responsibility on the field. Them the business boy. What off the field, if it wasn't perfect, yeah, the preparation wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect. But when you go out there and you do out there and it's a game where you do or die game, you have to take the responsibility on the field. You get me? I say so the players them have to take responsibility on the field. When the whistle they blow, everything go to the back and take responsibility on the field. The second thing we have to take away from the youth them qualifying for the World Cup, where the men's, as I say, boys to men, what them can learn from the boys is big players stepping up in crunch time. Again, crunch time. Again, I show the video when we did big up Knockins. Knockins says Sleek are one of the respectable ones. I know where I'm forward from. Knockins did ask me a couple days before the game who my starting level is, and I was like, yo, Jungle Justice, read my friend Tree. My name my starting level. And when Mr. Big players need to step up, the big players them will put the pressure upon, especially man like Shamar Nicholson. And this is not me focusing on Shamar only. Cephas did half a start left wing. Bobby Reed did half a start in the number 10. Dimi, half a start. Big name players. The big name players when a crunch time, you have to step up. Yesterday, I see big game, I say big players step up. I say Nolan step up to the plate and say me have the skipper, me have the armband, me have the man, me a step up. I say Lyle step up and say me want this World Cup me a go. I say my defense, I say my keeper, I say my midfielder, them I say everybody step up, but the big name players them. Lyle, Nolan, and them step up yesterday. So big name players need to step up. That's the second thing. The third thing is that play inform attackers, which again, may also criticize the coaching staff and the backroom staff for this, because more point out this. Now, Shamar Nichols is starting again. Get weight forward from Shamar scored the most goals in the region. However, leading up to the games, what do you do the research? Leading up to the games, the hottest striker we had was Roman Burrell. He never come on the field. He actually never met the last squad. Trivante, two of the hottest striker them who have in our world football. Trivante was nowhere near the team. So why we have them two add forward there? However, we created 4 big chances and could score, and then we say we're unlucky. We're not unlucky. Easy we cut off with nose for spite our face. Or if you have hot forward like a Roman Burrell, we literally have scored 4 goals in 6 games leading up to that final crunch game, and Burrell not even in the squad. Trivante nowhere near the squad. Come on, man, you have to play inform attackers. If if you really, really, really want to put away some chances. King, you lose me there. You can't play Burrell. Him shouldn't even get called up. What do you mean? What? Jordan, what you say, Jordan? Jordan, I don't understand what you say. Him shouldn't even get called up. Him did out of the camp. What do you mean? What do you mean? Him shouldn't even get called up. What do you mean by you can't play your most informed forward? Him don't know the system. Him know the system for put the ball on the back of the net. It was crunch. And again, even if him not start, again, he could have thrown the kitchen sink, bring on Burrell Sedway, as all you bring on Bailey Kadamachi. Your goals you need. Why you not have all your forward them in the squad? What do you mean by that? What you want today? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Jordan? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by all me mad? Yo, let me drop back that link here, you know. Let me drop back that link here before I go on my bed. Because I'm not over zone I say, you know. Let me drop back that link here because I don't know who am mad. Who you say I'm mad, Issa? Because I don't know who am mad, you know. Because what do you mean by you can't play? It was a crunch. Him don't know the system. Let me tell you this. You see a center forward, knowing the system, hot like fire. You have to play. You see the man, you think say, all right. Again, yesterday game, you know. Who out there? Kelvin Brown have to do out there. Even though him never score, mind you. Lyle, hot forward. Hot ball of them have to do out there, man. Playing farm players, man. Number 4. Take each game 100% serious as a must win. And here's why I'm going to say this now. So yeah, yesterday we qualified, but I think the game was set us up to qualify was the game before where we dropped 12 love on Cayman Islands. And this is what I mean by that. Beating Cayman Islands by 12 goals set us up and give us the opportunity to be in pole position, meaning say we were in control. Meaning say Canada needed a victory and we just needed a draw, which is the opposite of what we did against Trinidad. What do you mean by arrest the big players them against Trinidad? What do you mean by Shamar got arrested? What do you mean by arrest players against Trinidad? Trinidad game was supposed to win that or go for the win. Because even if we never get the win at Trinidad, we'd have still know say all we needed to do was win at Jamaica. So go for the game against Trinidad and then at the driver's seat against Curacao. Now that gone, right? So moving forward now, what we can learn from this. It's in New Caledonia. New Caledonia. We have to go for New Caledonia. And is it a 12 love that we just ski? Cayman Islands. Or something like that. Or something like that. We're going to need to make a statement against New Caledonia. I know it's not going to be easy. But make a statement against New Caledonia. Don't ease up off of them throat. Don't go about a tactical thing. I just want the victory. I just want the 3 points to move on. Yeah, want the victory. But go there for 12 love New Caledonia like how the young Reggae Boyz them 12 love came and make the Congo start fear. We're not then control, but statement. The New Caledonia we make the Congo get frightened, man. I know it's not gonna be easy, but that I learn from it. You see me? And number 5 is players must finish their chances. Do everything for qualify for World Cup. Players them have to finish them chance. Yesterday, we never get a bag of chance. But when the chance them forward, back of the net. Not pan the post, not pan the post, not pan the post. Back of the net, and we get enough chance in the Curacao game to qualify. Get a chance, have to be clinical. Have to be clinical, have to be clinical, have to be clinical. And that's one of the things that I'm learn from yesterday's show. Yesterday game, the man them was clinical with the chance that we get. We don't waste a chance yesterday. I can't even remember if we miss chance yesterday. I can't even remember if we miss chance because I can't remember wasting any chance yesterday. So clinical is the name of the game. You get me? I say you have to take a chance. Them you have to. Them 5 major takeaways. There, I think the youths them can really show the senior team from qualifying to the World Cup. You see me? But yeah, that is what me think. The 5 things. Them system. Do we have one? All at the real talk. See the real talk. Yeah, I say Jordan. Leave speed out of this. Yes, speed ball. Do you know the team, King? Which team? Do I know which team? Yeah, man, that's them 5 takeaways them have after really give you them flowers. Really, I write a make a round up the ball game, people. It was a good one. I needed to do this for the youth them. It was a good show. Tomorrow again, I supposed to be keep having a show about 10 o'clock. Easy mistake. I look forward for a show tomorrow at 10 as well, people. Yeah, I should be having a show at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Reggae Boyz Watch. We're bringing back the Reggae Boyz Watch again. So we're bringing back Reggae Boyz Watch. We're bringing back Hot Take Tuesdays. And we're continuing a series of videos that we'll have coming out. Probably soon tomorrow as well. If not, tomorrow Friday. If not, you'll see one on Sunday. So yeah, people, I think that is it. You get me? I say it was a pleasure bringing you guys this show. I had fun. You get me? I say Kerry really with a wealth of knowledge. I think we did you them justice. You get me? I say it was very important for me. But not only just glass over what the youth them go on with yesterday and actually big up the youth them. So for me, we have to say big up the youth them, and this is the last image we are going to leave the ones them with. You don't know, Babsy is there. Big up Babsy is there again. Babsy is there with the coach, Mr. Downs. Well, you see me? Everdeen Scarlett is to the right, the goalkeeper coach. You get me? I say, and some of the youngsters them is there. I even want to ask, I'm supposed to remember the name of the lady today. Left for Babsy. But somebody can remind me what's your name. I feel very. What's your name? I don't know. What's the lady to the left of Babsy? What's your name? Somebody help me with the name with the lady to the left of Babsy there, please, and thanks. You see me? But yeah, I don't know. Minister of Sports is there. You don't know, and really I showed you them some love with the trophy of qualifying to the World Cup, people. But I think it was a good show. I enjoyed this one a lot. You get me? I say, I enjoyed this one a lot with the youths them. But yeah, people, until next time, you don't know any people. Big up everybody were there. Conrad Smith, big up yourself. Jordan, big up yourself. Big up yourself. The East Side is in the building as well. Big up yourself. People, it was a pleasure. Wells in the building. Ricky, Dan's Walker in the building as well. Big up yourself. Big up to everybody who passed through. Nicholas Williams, big up yourself as well. Boss Thomas was in the building. Big up as well. So people, you don't know until next time. Uptown 1G. People, until next time, you don't know it's your boy King. You don't know the Pree. Walk. Good people, until next time. Big up yourself.
When Pree TV, big them up. Yes, sir. When they catch the family, big up Pree TV. Like, share, subscribe.
Boom! You don't know about TV, we are big up, you don't know. Boom! I want Pree TV, you don't know how to pick. Big up yourself, every time.
Like, share, and subscribe to Pree TV.
I will tell them, say, Pree TV. I will tell them thirst is nothing. Zoom in for the diamond, then.
Oh,
image
shit.
is everything. Obey your image. I will make them know. I've seen enough TV before, but I've never seen a TV like this. I've seen enough station before. Pree TV, the one you top the list. Room! Shizzle for cheesy. I didn't know big enough Pree TV would be so easy. Kaboom! Room! Sham! Kaboom!